It's time to wake up. Kincade and Salciunas is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Well, Radio Man, you're lying to the people. John Kincade is on vacation out at a beautiful island where I spent my honeymoon, so I am extremely jealous of John Kincade. We should all be extremely jealous of John Kincade because the next couple of days are going to suck with weather-wise until it finally turns around Friday when it's actually be warm and sunny, and we're going to actually be able to see, like, the sun. That's going to be really cool. Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Andrew Salciunas. Johnny the K on vacation. Connor in with us for a couple of days, and he goes on vacation. I'm the only guy that works around here, apparently.
Sorry, man. Florida's calling.
My God. You know, like, I swear you guys were just both on vacation. Here I am, holding down the fort. Oh, don't worry.
Hey, man, vacation's not the only thing to look forward to, though.
Don't worry. I'll take care of it. All right. So yesterday, we got to see the debut of Andrew Painter in a Phillies uniform. Spring training debut. Of course, we know that he's going to be on the club this year, so it's not like he's fighting for a job. So we got to see Andrew Painter in action yesterday. 2 shutout innings. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot to unpack from that. We'll give you what Rob Thompson had to say about it, what some of his teammates had to say about it, what Andrew Painter himself had to say about it. But it made me think, all right, the last week that we just went through, quite frankly, it sucked. All right, like it sucked. It was a daily update on A.J. Brown. That's what happens when you go to a combine and then all the GMs talk, all the head coaches talk, and there's so much that's going around the National Football League. And the number one story, I know a lot of you complain that we talk about it every day here on the Fanatic, but let's face it, the number one story in the NFL is the future of A.J. Brown. They're not talking about Max Crosby as much as A.J. Brown. There's a lot of players they're not talking about as much as A.J. Brown. So the reason why we had to talk about it every single day was there was a new nugget. There was something new to react to. And the most recent one was Thursday afternoon. We reacted to it on the show Friday morning about Diana Rossini reporting that A.J. Brown's agent, Jimmy Sexton, was going around doing the back channeling to see if there were teams that were interested in a trade for A.J. Brown. All right, no, it was not collusion. No, this was not illegal tampering. This is how it works in the National Football League if a player okays it. And clearly, A.J. Brown okayed it. The Eagles okayed it. That does not mean that he is going to be traded. It just feels a little bit more real for the people that have been burying their head in the sand. But that's not what we're going to talk about all day today. We'll do the A.J. Brown update. We have to. All right, I don't want to say don't worry because I know a lot of you don't want it. We will give you the A.J. Brown update later on in the show. But I want to turn the page a little bit here today. All right, I want to be happy. I had a horrific weekend. I want to say a crappy weekend because quite literally there was crap all over my house. I had a sewage malfunction Friday morning. It went into my air duct system, and many dollars later, I was finally able to go back to my house with my wife and son. It was a pretty crappy weekend, literally. So I want to have some fun today. I want to be excited for a change because since the Eagles got eliminated, we've been kicked down. We've been kicked and beaten while we've been down. The Eagles get eliminated. That sucks to begin with, right? And then there's all the talks about what's next. Patullo gets fired immediately. The team that you lost to got destroyed the very next week by the Seattle Seahawks. And then, of course, the A.J. Brown saga begins. All right, that's just Eagles related. We've not talked about the Sixers, who traded away a player that a lot of people liked in Jared McCain, did not make a move of note to better this team. Joel Embiid's gotten hurt a couple of times since the day the Eagles got eliminated. It has not necessarily been fun when it comes to the Sixers. The Flyers, right before the Olympic break, went on a huge downslide. They've won their last 2, thank God. But that wasn't fun. And then, of course, we have the Phillies where it's mainly just projection. And for the majority of us, projecting the Phillies has not been fun. Hand raised, all right? I'm not going to, hide the fact that the Phillies and their lineup scares the hell out of me. 4.0, because I feel like we've been having the same conversation for years. But that does not mean that I'm not excited about stuff. I feel like there is a belief, because let's face it, we do it, that all we do is complain on this show or on this station or Philadelphia media in general. All they do is complain. Well, for the most part, stories aren't always positive. They lose more than they win in terms of the big picture stuff. I'm not talking about the regular season. I'm talking about playoffs and getting the championships. They lose more than they win. And when they lose, based off of the expectations, if we're talking World Series or bust or Super Bowl or bust or championship or bust, we're talking about how can they get back there? What went wrong? What can be fixed? And that's mainly negative. Today, I want to do a little bit different. Today, I want to talk about what you are most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now. Because we just got to watch the debut of Andrew Painter yesterday in spring training. And man, was it nice to sit back on March 1st in my house, the heater actually running, watching a game and seeing a player that we have been told about for years finally show it. Not that he hasn't shown it in the minor leagues, but I'm sorry, I have not made the trip to Lehigh. I have not made the trip to the other different levels of minor league baseball for the Phillies. All right? I haven't seen Double-A. I haven't seen Single-A. I have not seen Andrew Painter pitch. We got to watch that yesterday, and it was exciting. We also got to see another double by Justin Crawford, a young player that we know will be playing on the opening day roster. Will be playing on opening day. We'll have to wait a couple days for Andrew Painter. We will see on opening day Justin Crawford manning center field for the Philadelphia Phillies. So those are two young players that will make an impact for this team, hopefully in a positive way, that we have expectations for, which we'll get into in a little bit. But those two players are worthy of being excited about. We could talk about the four-hole being Alec Boehm and how much that stinks, that a guy that slaps singles is batting cleanup. We could talk about, man, Dave Dombrowski. Some of these decisions that he made are very questionable. All we want, we've been doing that. But let's take a different stance today. Let's have some fun today. What are you most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now? It could be something that is actively happening. It could be something where you're looking at down the road. Hell, the Sixers have some pretty good draft picks in 2028. I don't know. I don't know what tickles your fancy, the old saying. Like, what is it right now that you are most excited about? Because for me, it's seeing hope. And the hope is those two players that made an impact for the Phillies. I'm not going to overrate spring training games. All right? They're not playing the opening day rosters of other teams. Justin Crawford batting .333 so far in spring training does not mean that's going to translate to the major league level. All right, I'm not going to fool myself. I did that when I was a child with Hector Luna batting over 300 one year in spring training. How about that for a pull? I'm not going to do that to myself. But I can see certain things where I go, all right, this is what the Phillies farm system has been talking to you about. This is what the guys that cover it, the scouting department, have been telling you about. Now, they lie a lot. I'm also not blind to that. Cody Ashe was once compared to Chase Utley because of his swing path. And as a child, I bought into it, thinking that we were going to have two Chase Utleys on the team at the same time, in Chase Utley and Cody Ashe. That's not how it played out. Scouts lie all the time because they need to be able to show that they are worthy of their job and the lots of money that they get paid. So, Connor, what is it that you are most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now? The entire Philadelphia sports landscape. I want to hear from people on this all day today at 610-632-0975. Because now that we've started the month of March and we're right around the corner from spring training, we're 1 week away from the start of the new league year for the Philadelphia Eagles, which is something to be excited about. I don't know how excited you are for the playoffs being 1 month away in both the NHL and the NBA because we don't know if one team's going to make it, that being the Flyers, and we never know just how healthy or real the Sixers are going to be entering the playoffs. But we are 1 month away from playoffs in hockey and basketball, 1 week away from the opening of the new league here in the NFL, and this is the month where the 2026 Major League season starts. I saw something posted on social media. I think it was a Bleacher Report or DraftKings or something. They were asking which month in sports is better, March or October. Because October, you get the starts of NBA and NHL. Football is going on. It's the baseball playoffs and World Series. Whereas in March, you have the start of baseball, the start of the new league year in football, which is exciting. Playoffs are about to begin, March Madness, right? Like we are in one of those, whichever side you pick. I'm October because football is actually being played. Regardless, March isn't that bad either. So, Connor, what are you most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now?
Let's knock a couple of things off the list real quick. Some people are going to think Sean Mannion's offense. I think there are plenty of questions about that still where I can't get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm fully excited.
Sure.
I'm intrigued, not necessarily excited yet. We got the NHL trade deadline on Friday. I've heard more from the Flyers fans throughout this year about trying to make an actual push in a positive direction. Like, people are getting tired of the rebuild.
Yeah, I hope they don't.
I'm excited to see what they do, though. But that's more of intrigue because I don't think they're going to go out and make like a splash move, and I don't think they should. You took a lot of Philly stuff off the board, and I think you should, and that's the next season coming up. But I'll take another one. VJ Edgecomb, Tyrese Maxey. That backcourt tandem, they're incredible. And Maxey is the vet in that group, and he's 25 years old.
25, the vet.
Like, this dude is having an all-NBA caliber season. All-star starter, all kinds of accolades and awards. Franchise three-point leader at 25 years old. Like, there is a lot of upside with those two players, and for all of the storm that goes on around them with the injuries that team has to deal with and the Paul George suspension, I'm still excited to see how they get into the more impactful games of the season as they make the playoff push. And then when they do, whether it's the play-in games or the actual playoffs, get those opportunities. Like, what does VJ look like in the big moments? What does this version of Maxey look like in a postseason series? Does he have another level he can get to? That's the number one thing, because I guess it's the immediacy right now, still a handful of weeks away from baseball that actually matters. That's what I'm looking at the most.
And they'll be in the playoffs, right? Like, the Sixers will be in the playoffs. The Flyers, they have a long road to climb still to get there. But to your point, the Sixers will be in the playoffs, so we will be able to see. First, you hold your breath every minute, every second with Joel Embiid, who's now out with an oblique injury, that when he's on the court, because we all know the Sixers are better with Joel Embiid, which is why I always say be careful what you wish for, right? For the people that want to trade Joel Embiid. I understand if you want to trade to try to rebuild, but they're 21-12 with Joel Embiid this year. They're not as good without Joel Embiid. You hold your breath. Come playoff time, is Embiid going to be at the best, most healthy possible shape that he could possibly be in? We'll see. But to your point about, we've seen Tyrese Maxey step up in the playoffs. Can VJ Edgecomb be a key factor, especially when you actually play defense in the playoffs? And VJ Edgecomb is a guy that does play defense and plays it at a very good level. You just also hope that he's not burnt out by that point, because they're all playing like 40 minutes a night, because that's what Nick Nurse is doing. And we'll talk about Nick Nurse at some point, because he's frustrating me.
Hey, he's the generator. He's built to run.
But ultimately, forget my frustrations with Nick Nurse. Forget my frustrations with Daryl Morey. Forget any frustrations for now. What are you most excited about in Philadelphia sports? 610-632-0975. I'm already checking our YouTube chat. I saw Kieran basically saying, calm down. It was just 2 innings of spring training. I get it. So I said, I don't know when you sent that comment, but it's why I said I'm not going to overrate spring training. Justin Crawford, I don't believe will hit 333 in the major leagues this season as a rookie. I don't believe that Andrew Painter is going to be throwing shutout after shutout after shutout. But I was able to see velocity. I was able to see command. That was the biggest issue with Andrew Painter last year. The velocity was there, but he was leaving it right over the middle of the plate. You were able to see him command the fastball yesterday. He struck out a batter with the slider. There are things that the Phillies tell you, and not just the Phillies, people that cover Major League Baseball tell you about Andrew Painter and about why there's so much hype for one of the top prospects in baseball, and you got to see it yesterday. So what is it that you are most excited about when it comes to Philadelphia sports? 610-632-0975. Now, speaking of Painter and Crawford, this is another conversation that I want to have. Where are you setting your expectations for both players? And I'm not saying one or the other. I'm saying both players. One will obviously only play every 5th day. The other you're hoping plays every single day throughout the Major League season. This team is in a championship window. So this team is not the White Sox where you're just hoping for growth. You're hoping to win like 10 more games from the previous season. No, this team is expected to win minimum 90 baseball games, is expected to be in the playoffs. A lot of people picking them to win the division. So we're not talking about a team that's rebuilding. We're talking about a team that is ready to strike now. Has been. And you have two players that are very young that you're going to rely on. We're talking about the everyday center fielder. We're talking about a guy on the mound that is supposed to replace what Ranger Suarez has been bringing to the table over the years, which isn't just consistency when healthy in the regular season. It is consistency in terms of being probably your clutchest pitcher, other than Zach Wheeler. And I'm talking about over this span of time. Christopher Sanchez just made his impact really last year. I'm talking about over the years. Ranger Suarez, that World Series run, he was a big part of it. He's not here anymore. So what are your expectations for these two guys? Because there is an unfair situation that they're being put in. Now, part of me goes, I don't give a damn. You're a Major League Baseball player, and you were supposed to be here before. If Andrew Painter did not get hurt a couple of years ago, he was already with the big league club. If the Phillies didn't rely on Max Kepler to juice, Justin Crawford is with the big league club last season. So it's not my fault the Phillies have taken way too long of time with him and Andrew Painter got hurt. But I also have to understand that I got to give some reasonable expectations. Like if Justin Crawford comes out the gate slow, and I'm not talking about him running, I'm talking about his bat, and he's hitting 212 through the first month of the season, I'm not going to be sitting here going they should trade for somebody. They got to play every single day and take their lumps when they get them.
Yeah, where I'm thinking, and I think this is fair for both those guys, I don't actually think it's the worst situation for Andrew Painter. Like, you think about the move they made last year for Jesus Luzardo, acquiring him via trade in the offseason. If you don't make that move, Ranger walks, Nola has the season that he has, Wheeler's hurt. It's like, is Painter our 2 or our 3 going into this season? Like, overall, this season, it seems like he's going to play out as either the 4 or the 5. And Crawford's going to be batting 9th. And if you look at what the Phillies have gotten out of their 9-hole, we talk about the cleanup spot so much because it's more important, right? You're the protection. Yeah. But you also would like to set the table for those 3 guys at the top, and they've stunk in the 9-hole. I need both of these guys over their rookie years to be league average Major League Baseball players. I don't think that's unfair.
No.
And I think that's, 1, good enough for a 4 or 5 in a rotation, and 2, better than what you've gotten out of the 9-hole in this era of Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, look, this era. You got Rojas. Before that, Roman Quinn. Hell, Roman Quinn batted 8th or 9th. Yeah, Roman Quinn batted 9th when they were still pitchers batting. Remember that? Like Vince Velasquez used to bat 8th. Roman Quinn batted 9th.
Well, Vinny could swing it.
That's how bad it was for a long period of time. So, look, you're going to need him to play a role. And it's why you needed to move Kyle Schwarber to the cleanup spot last year, because he'd go up there with nobody up on base, like every single at bat. I'm not saying put him there now just because Justin Crawford is batting 9th. But to your point, they need to have an impact. You can't have holes in the lineup where it's borderline a guaranteed out, or there won't be some sort of impact made. A runner won't even be moved over. Like, that's what this Phillies team had been struggling with. Once you got past a certain point in the order, you're going, all right, let's is the pitcher loose, ready to go for the next inning? So what are you most excited about? 610-632-0975. And where are you setting your expectations for both Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford? The one thing about Crawford that, look, I'm excited for Justin Crawford. I need to make that clear. But how many top prospects are we hearing about where it's like these guys are coming up and they're going to hit 30 bombs maybe their rookie season? We're not getting that with our top prospect. Our top prospect, you're hoping gets on base and wreaks havoc while on the bases. But a lot of baseball teams, a lot of fan bases get to be excited about a guy that's going to completely change your lineup around, will be a part of the middle of the order. You're going to see the young guy that starts somewhere on a team that bats 6th to start the season, but eventually makes his way to anywhere from that 2 to 4 spot. Justin Crawford's batting 9th, period. Maybe at one point he's a one-hole hitter. I don't think that's happening this season. Where are you setting your expectations for both Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford, and what are you most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now? You can climb in 610-632-0975. We'll be monitoring YouTube all day today as well. Giant of the K is on vacation. Coming up at 7 o'clock. I put it out on social media yesterday, so did the station. we have a big announcement at 7 o'clock. I know what it is, clearly, and I'm very excited for it. It's something that we've been doing for a long time, every single year here at the Fanatic. It's something that is really cool for you, the listener, the viewer. It's also really cool for us. Even though we've been doing it, it's something really cool, man. Every once in a while, I could tap into childhood Andrew and go, how the hell am I doing this for a living? How do I get these opportunities? It's how I try to live my life, to not take this for granted. Because one day it'll be over. But I want you to know, 7 o'clock, big announcement, and it's an opportunity for you to have a hell of a night. Text in 610-632-0975. Coming up next, we'll give you the winter sports update. Sixers Flyers in action over the weekend. And I did tell you that we will do the A.J. Brown update. Just the latest report. We're not doing any topics on it. I'm not going to demand you to text in answering some sort of question. But we'll give you the latest reports on A.J. Brown because they're conflicting like every single day. It is Kincade and Salciunas. Johnny out today. All week long. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers come up short in Boston. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers dropped their game in Boston against the Celtics last night, 114-98, despite Tyrese Maxey leading all scorers with 33 points in the game. It was the first of an expected three-game absence for Joel Embiid as he deals with an oblique strain, and the Sixers showed it, man. They were out-rebounded 59-37 in the loss. Tyrese Maxey talked about that after the game.
When you boxing out and they shooting so many threes, they bouncing far and long. And those are the tough ones where, like, it's difficult, man. They shoot the three, you boxing out the corners because they crashing hard. You know that they crashing, and they bounce funny tonight.
Maybe it was funny bounces. Maybe it's not having the big man on the court because getting out-rebounded by 22 is not a great way to find a way to win a ball game. Sixers have the night off tonight. They'll host the Spurs on Tuesday. Flyers took down the Bruins 3-1 on Saturdays. They're showing signs of life for a potential playoff push with the NHL trade deadline on Friday. We'll keep you updated on what moves they could look to make. They play the Leafs up in Toronto tonight at 7:30. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. Andrew Painter made his first start of the spring for the Phillies yesterday as they took on the Yankees. He threw 2 scoreless. Phils played the Rays today at 1:05. Union fell to New York City FC 2-1 in their home opener yesterday. And like you heard Andrew saying, we got a major station announcement at 7 a.m. This update's brought to you by Uber Eats. Philly, you hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at Coco's Cookies and Creamery from now till March 31st. Get a buy one, get one free deal on a milkshake, all on the Uber Eats app. Order now only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
It is 6:29 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, a couple of things to get to before we check our text line. Our question this morning, what are you most excited by in Philly sports right now? I did see a couple on YouTube that I'll quickly read to you. Renee, no shock, most excited about Eagles training camp, but she does also mention warm weather. Renee's the biggest Eagles fan that I know on the YouTube chat, and basically hates everybody else. But excited for training camp. JM says, I'm excited for the draft and the new offense, which you said you want to say that, but you just don't know how it's going to look, which I think that's a very fair way to look at it. But I do believe there are a lot of people just excited about what's new. And what's new is Sean Mannion. And what's new is what Sean Mannion probably believes when it comes to how to run an offense, which is completely contradictory to what Nick Sirianni does. So we'll see just how much Sean Mannion is allowed to do. That will be a story that we won't talk about until September. We'll find out then. All right, Sixers, Flyers, both in action over the weekend. The Flyers now winners of 2 straight games. They beat the Bruins. It's a very good win, especially because the Bruins are the second wild card team right now, and the Flyers are 6 points behind them. So that's a nice win for the Flyers, netting all 3 goals in the third period, beating the Bruins 3-1. So back-to-back wins for the Flyers. Been a while since we've been able to say that. Look, I'm not going to hold my breath that they make the playoffs, but I want them to show some fight, because right before that Olympic break, when Vladar got hurt, it just crashed and burned. And you mentioned the trade deadline this weekend. I don't want them to make some splash. I really don't. Like, even if you do make the playoffs, this team has no shot. All right? And we have to be big enough to admit that. We've done that with other teams, right? We got to do that with the Flyers. I know that there is the sense of just wanting to see them get there. That's where I'm at, all right? I just want to see them there. Back in 2022, the amount of arguing I did in the months of August and September with Phillies fans that did not want them to make the playoffs. They were almost like, I want them to be embarrassed so that they're back next year. I was like, no, I want them to get experience. I don't care if they lose both games to whoever they play in the first round. I just want them to get the experience. They got the experience against the Cardinals, and then it was the most magical run after that. And I think a lot of people that said they didn't want to make the playoffs quieted down pretty quickly. I want the Flyers to make the playoffs, but they don't have a roster like that 2022 Phillies team had. They were supposed to make the playoffs, that team. This one isn't. So I don't want them to make some big splash, but it was nice to see them win back-to-back games. Sixers lose yesterday to the Celtics. Joel Embiid does not play. He's got the oblique injury. Remember the other night, that took the shot to the ribs and could barely raise his arm. VJ Edgecomb, praised him for playing through the pain. Hits the big, ice the game against the Heat with the 3-point basket. Now we're going to miss him for 3 games. He's out yesterday. Sixers lose to the Celtics 114-98. They get outscored by 14 points in the second quarter. So at least it wasn't they actually outscored the Celtics in the third. So the third quarter swing is going on for the Sixers right now. It was just before halftime the Sixers decided to have no answers. And that's on Nick Nurse, man. I get it. It's tough. It is tough to not know when Joel Embiid is playing. It's tough to be having Embiid one night and not having him the next night. I talk about that all the time. But, man, these second quarters or third quarters, that's a coaching thing. It just seems to happen almost every single night. So those are your winter update. Flyers, 2 straight wins. Sixers without Joel Embiid, shockingly lose yet again. Now, the A.J. Brown update. Once more, we're not doing some big topic on it today. All right? Friday morning, we reacted to the Diana Rossini report, where she told us that Jimmy Sexton, A.J. Brown's update, was indeed talking to other teams, gauging the interest of whether or not A.J. Brown, if those teams were interested in trying to trade for A.J. Brown. As we said on Friday, that does not mean that he is getting traded, but it does mean that A.J. Brown would not mind a different destination, which is something that a lot of people ignored. A.J. Brown wants to be here, is what I kept on hearing. Sure, maybe he does like it here, but maybe he would prefer somewhere else. Ultimately, it does not mean he's actually getting traded, because teams could offer like a 5th-round pick for A.J. Brown, and the Eagles are going to laugh at that and hang up the phone. I don't want them to get just a 2nd-round pick. If they're trading A.J. Brown, I told you, I can't say no to a first and a third. The problem is, are they going to get that? So we reacted to Rossini Friday morning because she said it Thursday afternoon. After we got off the air, Peter Schrager, who's now with ESPN, was on the Pat McAfee show and was talking about how A.J. Brown is not on the block. All right, the Eagles are not actively trying to trade A.J. Brown. Regardless of the drama, according to Schrager, the Eagles aren't saying, yes, we're going to trade him. You never want to do that, people, right? You never want to do that. Did you not see what went down this weekend with Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals? Or you go to Minnesota with Jones, the running back, and Javon Hargrave. The report comes out, hey, if nobody trades for you, we're going to release you. So do you think anyone's going to trade for them?
Nope.
And if anything, it'll be like a 6th or a 7th round pick. It's not going to be a second-day pick because the team is letting people know that if we do not trade him, we will release him, much like Dave Dombrowski did with Nick Castellanos. So, no, Howie Roseman is not going to do that because he's smarter than other GMs in the National Football League. So they're not going to actively say we're trying to trade A.J. Brown. So A.J. Brown, not technically on the block. Peter Schrager is reporting that they do not want to try to trade A.J. Brown. He's mentioning the post-June 1st cap, by the way. I'm getting worried that if they do trade him, it's going to be later in the summer. Yeah, sure, from cap implications, it benefits the Eagles, but from this draft, it doesn't. I would rather it happen before the draft if they are going to trade him and not till after the draft, where you don't get the impact of this draft, where they need an offensive tackle, where they will then need a wide receiver, where they also need a tight end. More picks helps them. Now, there was an interesting nugget. I saw it on Bleeding Green Nation. Shout out to our man, Brandon Lee Gouton, who you can hear on Middays with Marks occasionally. The executive vice president of player personnel for the New England Patriots, his name's Elliot Wolf, was on the record saying that the Patriots are willing to trade their first-round pick for the right player. You read the tea leaves, you know, is it really all that hard to think who that player would be? They need a wide receiver. A.J. Brown loves the New England Patriots. A.J. Brown was on the podcast with the Patriots guys, with Gronk and Edelman. So there is a team that is probably one of the destinations. We've been talking about it for a while. Dan Graziano also reporting that if for the right offer, the Eagles would do it, but they're not actively trying to trade him. So there is your A.J. Brown update. End of discussion until the next one. All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor? It's 610-632-0975. What is it that you're most excited for right now in Philadelphia sports? Because last week just beat me up with the daily A.J. Brown stuff. Flyers lost a couple games last week. We got Joel Embiid oblique. Like last week beat me up. And also my own personal life with the plumbing issues. I wouldn't mind having some fun today and enjoying it, especially when we have a big announcement coming up at 7 o'clock. And also, what are your expectations for both Justin Crawford and Andrew Painter? I see one on our YouTube chat, MBD on Crawford, 263 hitter with 7 home runs and 25 steals. I would take that at my 9-hole hitter.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Sign me up now. He said also competent center field. Sign me up now. Greg says Andrew Painter, 3.50 ERA.
That's a little lofty, but we'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, if he's supposed to be one of these top prospects, yeah, I would take that right. I would sign up for both of those right now with no higher number, right? I would not want to roll the dice of maybe they're better or maybe they're worse. You give me those two back into the rotation and 9-hole hitter, I'm in. As rookies, yeah, I'll take that. All right, what do you got on the text line?
All right, John will lead us off. I don't believe this is Kincade texting us from St. Lucia.
I hope not.
This John says, excited for the NFL draft and watching Howie work his magic. It's going to be an impactful draft for our future, and I'm sure we'll have at least 2 trades in the first 2 days.
Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting because if a trade for A.J. Brown happens, where they move on from A.J. Brown and they get a first-round pick or, even though I don't want it, a second-round pick, it's already an interesting draft, right? You have a pick in the first 3 rounds. You have 3 positions. Even if you don't trade A.J. Brown, you need to draft a wide receiver. Let's make that clear. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they drafted Buka last year. when already having Chris Godwin, who's coming back from his injury, and of course they had Mike Evans. But they were also planning for when Mike Evans leaves. Oh, by the way, he's a free agent. No guarantee that he returns to Tampa Bay, and if he does, it's a one-year deal. So they're trying to play ahead of the curve. What did the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks do? They had DK Metcalf. They had Tyler Lockett. They draft Jackson Smith and Jigba in the first round. For the first year, he's the third option. Learns the league a little bit. They get rid of both players. Jackson Smith and Jigba's their number one wide receiver, their first-round pick. He has 1,700 yards, and they win the Super Bowl. So the Eagles are going to have to draft a wide receiver pretty early, regardless of what they do with A.J. Brown. So the draft is going to be really interesting because tackle must happen. Tight end must happen. If A.J. Brown's back, it's not a must for wide receiver, but I think it's still got to be high on their list. What else we got?
We also have a check-in from Al in Southwest. There's a ray of sunshine this Monday morning.
Okay.
He says, there's nothing to look forward to in Philly sports. It's wait-and-see mode. Wait and see if the Eagles have an offense, if the Sixers get past the second round, if the Flyers don't fall apart, and if the Phillies can go deep in the playoffs.
So there's nothing to look forward.
Not a single thing, according to Al.
But are you not looking forward to Justin Crawford? Like, I am looking forward to it. I'm not telling you that he's going to be some superstar. But, man, youthful energy is something that this baseball team has not had. And you get it with Crawford and Painter immediately. This isn't we'll see them maybe in June. Like, this isn't Aiden Miller, who they're saying, oh, maybe after the All-Star break, he's a part of the plans. No, we know that on opening day this month, baseball starts this month. We will see both of those guys, Crawford on opening day starting center field, and maybe the second series of the season, Painter. We don't have to wait that much longer. Painter might be in the month of April. Sorry that you have to wait that much longer. What are you most excited by in Philadelphia sports right now? And where are you setting the bar for Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford? 610-632-0975. All right, coming up next, we got a little new addition to the show. Nothing crazy. Something that we're excited about, though. You'll hear what that is next. Also, some observations on who was in the building for Andrew Painter's spring training debut. You'll get some of those next. Big announcement comes your way at 7 o'clock here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
This Washington College guy to produce. Charity comes in many forms. Kincade Salciunas is back from the break. I wonder what they're going to get into.
It is just Salciunas, Johnny the K in St. Lucia, where I was for my honeymoon. Absolutely beautiful island. He sent me a photo when he first got there, and I said I was very happy for him. And then he sent me a second photo, and I was like, all right, stop. I don't
Too much.
I don't need this. Because he also knew what was going on in my house. He knows that it's cold here. I was like, I don't enjoy yourself, brother. All right? Tell me all about it when you get back. Johnny the K on vacation this week, so we'll be holding down the fort. All right, real quick on our YouTube chat. I can't please people every single day. I try my best, Connor. I try to please people every single day. It's hard because even just bringing up the A.J. Brown update makes people upset that we're talking about it. I told you, we're not doing a topic. I'm just updating you on the news or on the reports, on the latest.
How dare you?
And 32 on our YouTube chat. These guys just won't give it up. If AJ wanted out, he would be gone. That's why the Eagles aren't actively shopping him. Chunas is clueless. All right. Did you ever go to the store with your mom or your dad or your guardian growing up and they tell you don't pick the first thing you see?
Yeah.
So for a player of this magnitude, all right, because let's face it, A.J. Brown, I don't want him traded. A.J. Brown is a really freaking good player. I don't think the Eagles want to trade A.J. Brown. If they could say A.J. Brown's back and everybody's happy, I imagine that's what they'd rather have. I don't think this is a Brian Dawkins. He's turning 30. Got to get rid of him, Joe Banner. Like, I don't think it's that. I think it's somebody that is clearly upset, was upset, has been upset. The agent is talking to teams, which only happens when the player and the team both give the thumbs up to it, that it's allowed to be done. If he doesn't get traded, that's beautiful. But if he does, I don't think the Eagles were going to take the very first offer that they got for a player of this magnitude. So it may not happen. But if it does, I wouldn't be surprised if it took time.
Yeah, and just to start off this week with what we've been saying since the start, we don't want him traded.
No.
Like, we want him as part of the team.
We want him.
We'll see what happens.
Only one guy on the show that wants him traded, and that's John. If he doesn't.
And John's not alone in that. But
yeah, no, I know.
Conversation for another day.
All right. We got a new little addition to the show here. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
We have an announcement come up at 7 o'clock, but that's not the announcement. But you hear it all the time on Unfiltered. Well, that might be an afternoon delight. There's something nice about the morning. It's one of the downsides of leaving the house as early as I do, because she's still asleep. We got a Twitter poll daily here on the station, thanks to Dr. Avidan Appel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. As always, Twitter poll standing strong with support from Dr. Avidan Appel. For the whole 4 hours, our Twitter poll stays strong because of Dr. Avidan Appel. He's the best performing Twitter poll held up by Dr. Avidan Appel. What do we got today, Connor?
All right, so our inaugural Twitter poll here on the morning show, Kincade and Salciunas. What's the bar you're setting for both Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford? Two options here. I expect immediate impact, or I'll be patient. And right off the rip, 66% of responders are saying they're going to be patient with the young guys.
I hope that all 66% are being honest. I hope they're being honest, because I know how we operate at times. Let's say Harrison Bader, I know he got dinged up over the weekend, but let's say Harrison Bader comes out the gate strong for San Francisco, and it's a carryover from what we saw before he got hurt with the Phillies, where he was red hot and one of the key members of a lineup. And if Justin Crawford's hitting 200, people are going to say, how come they didn't bring Bader back for this kid? Because let's face it, that's why they didn't bring back Bader, because they have a center fielder. So they believe, even though people have told you he could translate to a corner outfielder at some point. But the reasoning why they didn't bring back Harrison Bader kind of explained it in one of the many podcasts that he did, was that he was not going to be able to do what he wanted to do, and that's play every day. And Justin Crawford's going to man center field. So if Bader comes out the gate strong, a player that a lot of people fell in love with for a brief period of time last year, and Crawford comes out slow, I hope the 66%, because that's where I would vote, is be patient. He's the 9-hole hitter. Right? I'm not asking him to be the 4-hole hitter. I'm asking him to be the 9-hole hitter. But I would not be surprised if people start pointing fingers going, what happened here? I wanted Bader back with Crawford in left field, more so because of the other players I don't want to see on the field. But I hope the 66% are actually going to be patient. All right, we'll check our text line again here in a moment, 610-632-0975. But the Andrew Painter update, again, he pitched 2 innings, 2 shutout innings for the Phillies yesterday in his first bit of spring training action as a member of the Phillies because he's going to make the team. He's not fighting for a spot. Rob Thompson said he thought he was great, very encouraging. He got ahead in the count. He attacked. That's not necessarily the guy I want to hear from. The guy I want to hear from is the guy that's catching him. And JT Realmuto was behind the dish yesterday. Here's what Realmuto had to say about Painter. Quote, he was really good. He really pounded the strike zone, a lot of early, weak contact, which is good. I was impressed with his fastball. He beat a lot of really good fastball hitters in the zone with his fastball, so that's always a good sign. I've caught him in some pens, and this was the first time live. Every time the command has been really good. He's able to work both sides of the plate, go up and down. That's something that most of our starters do a good job with, and that's why they're so successful. Being able to see him do that is important. Connor, you are an exceptional former Division III pitcher. You know that pitching a bullpen is easier than pitching against batters, right?
That's true.
So the fact that JT Realmuto is telling you that the command that he saw in the bullpen sessions carried over against live hitters, and no, we're not talking about murderer's row here. We're talking about spring training action. But the fact that he was able to continue that command, which was his issue last year. That was his biggest issue for the people that watched the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. It was Painter's command. He had the stuff, but everything was going over the middle of the plate. The fact that he was hitting the zones that Realmuto was spotting him, when you have that kind of ability that he has and then you add the command to it, it makes you excited.
Yeah, and he's just he's got poise for a kid his age. He's still young, even though he's been in the system for a while. And I think the only times he really missed yesterday when he threw was kind of maybe overthrowing. And you get that adrenaline, like you're getting back out for the first time in 3 years in spring training. But the guy's just very steady. Yeah. I don't know what the ceiling is this year, but I think he has a really high floor because the game doesn't really speed up on him like you see with some younger players when they make their debut.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what do we got on the text line? Our main topic so far today, because last week sucked. We want to start this week off strong, filled with happiness and excitement. What is it that you're most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now? And we're doing this because of what we saw yesterday with Andrew Painter, the 2 shutout innings, and another nice day for Crawford. What we got?
Larry and Delco checks in, says March Madness. We got Villanova hoops and the Phillies opening day with the Sixers and Flyers with them. Just get the playoffs and make a run.
So basically everything. What was his name?
That was Larry and Delco.
Larry's excited about quite literally everything in Philadelphia sports right now.
The opposite of Al.
Which that's nice. Like yeah, exactly. Our last texter, Al, was like, there's nothing that's exciting me right now. Villanova had a little bit of a rough weekend.
They'll still be in the tournament, though.
Yeah, they're having a very good season. We had Willard on not that long ago, the head coach. Losing 89-57 is a bit of a rough day for Nova. Kind of expected, though. Because remember, St. John's, the previous game, lost by 32 to UConn. So some team had to get spanked after that. Unfortunately, for the Wildcats fans out there, it was Villanova. All right, coming up next, we got the station announcement. We teased it on social media yesterday. I've been teasing it throughout the first hour of the show today. Something where you get to be a part of something truly special. It's Kincade and Salciunas. Johnny out this week on vacation. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers lose without Embiid. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers dropped their game in Boston last night to the Celtics 114-98. Tyrese Maxey did lead all scorers with 33 in the game, but it was the first game out for Joel Embiid in what's expected to be a 3-game absence due to an oblique strain, and the Sixers were out-rebounded 59-37 in his absence. Head coach Nick Nurse talked after the game about the rebounding issues.
I just didn't think we made enough shots. Really, I think it probably would have juiced us up a little more if we would have hit some of the open shots we were getting. And a lot of those rebounds were long ones. We just couldn't seem to get out of the hole when they were long rebounds to go chase them. Really hurt us.
Not making shots, not rebounding. Well, it's not a good formula for success. The Sixers have the night off tonight. They'll host the Spurs on Tuesday. Flyers took down the Bruins 3-1 on Saturdays. They're showing signs of life for a potential playoff push. NHL trade deadline on Friday. We'll keep you updated. They play the Leafs up in Toronto tonight at 7:30. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. Andrew Painter made his spring training debut yesterday. 2 scoreless innings as they faced the Yankees. The Phils did. They'll play the Rays 1:05 p.m. today after that 5-3 loss to the Yanks yesterday. The Union fell to New York City FC 2-1 in their home opener. They're 0-2 to start MLS play. And we got a major station announcement coming up next. This update is brought to you by Orderly Meds, affordable GLP-1s. OrderlyMeds.com gives you access to semaglutide and tirzepatide, often up to 50% less. Visit OrderlyMeds.com/radio. Individual results may vary. Eligibility required. See site for details. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
Most of the time. Now let's listen to more Kincade and Salciunas before I change my mind.
What are you most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now? Some of you may say the big announcement that's about to happen. I see James on our YouTube chat saying, VJ Edgecomb, how come nobody has said VJ Edgecomb? I get it. You couldn't tune in right at 6 o'clock. That's fine. Connor Thomas did say VJ Edgecomb, but that's okay if we have similar answers. We could do a running tally to see what people are most excited about right now. We're having that topic this morning because of what took place yesterday. Seeing Andrew Painter, the guy that we've been waiting for a very, very long time, step on the mound yesterday, throw 2 shutout innings, and then you go, all right, that's what people have been trying to tell us that cover the Phillies, that are in this scouting department. When guys like Larry Boa come on the station and talk highly of Andrew Painter, we got a chance to see that yesterday. We'll continue this conversation. We'll get more text messages at 610-632-0975. But Connor, a little drum roll, please. It is time for the announcement. Some of you did guess it. No, I'm not getting fired today. But some of you did guess it on social media yesterday. I see a couple people hitting it on YouTube this morning. It is the return of Fanatic Knockout. Your chance to play Knockout on the court for the first time ever, saying the Xfinity Mobile Arena. All right, the Xfinity Mobile Arena, March 25th. when Matas Buzelis and the Chicago Bulls are in town, Connor? Did they pick that game specifically for me?
Well, maybe not. That's also the return date for one Paul George when his suspension is up.
Is that right?
It's a big night at the Exmo.
Not sure what the ovation will be when Matt Cord announces the return of Paul George. It will help the team. I just don't know how happy people are. But we have Fanatic Knockout coming your way March 25th. So what we're going to do this week, starting today, I don't know how many pairs we'll be doing all week long and next week, but it's 23 days from now. So if you want to get in, you got to get in a hurry. Sixers, Bulls, March 25th at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Get single game tickets today at Sixers.com. And what we're going to do is you're going to win a pair of tickets, and one of you will be able to play Knockout on the court. I understand that we've been doing this many, many years, and, man, I could tell you it is so much fun. As somebody that has been able to do it, I still have a blast. I look forward to it every year. Every time we're told, all right, the announcement's coming, I get excited for it. You get to watch a game, and then you get to go on the court. The court, the same court, forget the name changes of the building. Same court that Allen Iverson played on. Like, that's how I look at it. I walk down there, I'm like, oh, my God, man. Me and AI, similar levels of talent when it comes to the sport of basketball. But it's so much fun. Connor, you had your debacle last year where you had to wear somebody else's shoes because you have to wear white-soled shoes. I'm going to say that now, and we will say it repeatedly up until the big event. You have to have the white-soled shoes. You can't go out there and scuff up the court. They don't want you to do that. So, Connor, are you prepared this year? Because last year you blamed the shoes for your early elimination, which I thought was weak.
Yeah, they were size too big, man, and they were Vans. I am prepared actually for Christmas. I got a present from my brother who always comes to Knockout as my +1.
Okay.
White-soled shoes. So I'm ready to roll, man. We're ready. This starts station beef. This starts listener beef. This is a great event for competition. It's a great game. This is one of my favorite things we
see. Tobias Harris, assassin score, according to his father. I'm the silent assassin. I don't talk smack.
I'm going to be a little bit more low key this year as well.
You were very, very chesty last year and got eliminated early, and then blamed shoes, which I thought was completely weak.
It's got to be the shoes
after all the smack talk that you did last year to lose as early as you did and then blame sneakers, I thought was weak, man. You were pissed.
It was like the opposite of like Mike. I lost all my ability without my own shoes.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We have a pair of tickets for the game and a spot in Knockout to give away today. We have 5 per week. So we'll do 1 a day this week, 1 a day next week. I guess we would have another week after that as well. My math's not mathing right now. But we have 5 pairs to give away this week. We'll do 1 today. And because I knew that the announcement was coming today, I already wanted to think of a way to have some fun with this. So yesterday, I'm driving to the gym, getting swole. And I heard Gangsta's Paradise on in the car. So, Gang, hit me with the instrumental of Gangsta's Paradise, please. I'll say he wasn't prepared for it. That's bad work by Connor. How much more do I have to stall for you here? Oh, my God. There we go. Jeez.
I thought we were doing this as one of the actual ones.
No, I'd read your text message. Or maybe I called you. I forget. So I'm driving to the gym yesterday, and this song's playing. I'm bopping my head. And this is an instrumental where, you know it, right? This isn't hard. You know this one. So what we're going to do today, we swapped out all the return music, the same 3 that you hear every single day. But Connor was the one that did it. I have no idea what's coming our way. Coming out of every single break today, you'll hear the instrumental of a song. And what you have to do is text the name of the song to 610-632-0975. So it's a little bit of an incentive for you to hang out with us during the commercial breaks and hear the return music. And when you hear it, you text 610-632-0975. And if you are one of the people that gets it right, you will be in the running for the Sixers tickets and the spot in Knockout. So we have, after this segment's over, 9 different return beds today. So you will have 9 chances to be in the running for the pair of tickets for the Sixers game on March 25th. and the spot in knockout. It's not first texter. It's not seventh texter. It's not last texter. You text it in. We will randomly select somebody at the end of each segment. We will announce that you're in the running, and then the next segment, we do it all over again. All right? So make sure you're listening closely all show. When you hear the instrumental, text it in 610-632-0975, and that'll get you in the running for the big event that we do every single year. We have so much fun with it. You get to watch the game. You get to do knockout after the game, and you get to try to knock out Connor Thomas, who talks way too much talk. And you also get to see Ray Dunn be an absolute menace on the court. That's the only time I see Ray Dunn get fiery. It's during knockout. All right. So that continues. 7:30 will be the first return bed that you hear to try to get your spot in knockout. All right, here's what we've got going on so far this morning. We'll get back to our text messages here momentarily at 610-632-0975. What is it that you are most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now? We got to watch Andrew Painter finally yesterday. What, first time in 2 years?
3 years at spring
3
training.
years? 3 years to the day, according to Jim Salisbury of NBC Sports Philadelphia, who we may be speaking to in about an hour. He's got a flight to catch, but Jim Salisbury was in attendance for the debut yesterday. So it's 3 years to the day after his first Grapefruit League start. Now, he was not going to be starting on opening day, but at that time there was talk that he could have been a September call-up, and then we know what happens. He gets the elbow injury that I still don't know how they flubbed that one. He gets the elbow injury, and they're saying it's not Tommy John, it's not Tommy John, it's not Tommy John. And they waited a month. They reevaluated a couple of times, and then he got the Tommy John surgery. And then he just disappears. We hadn't heard from Andrew Painter in a while. Then he finally returns last year and does not have a good season in AAA. He made 22 starts with the Iron Pigs last year, 106 2/3 innings. He allowed 10 hits and 3.9 walks per 9 innings. Like, that's not good. His ERA was 5.40. It was not good. But he was also working back from Tommy John, working on certain things like command, and the command wasn't there. And even in AAA, if you're grooving fastballs down the middle of the plate, AAA batters will be able to make an impact on it. Yesterday, we finally got to see him. If you've been following the storylines throughout spring training, JT Realmuto has been telling you that he's been hitting his spots really well. But what really happens is, what does it look like when there is a batter in the box? And in the box, he dazzled yesterday. And so Andrew Painter, and also the debut of Justin Crawford at the major league level this month, is what I am most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now. Because this team, this lineup, I don't have to go through the rants that I've been going through for years now, has gone stale. Other than Turner, Schwarber, Harper, 4 through 9, the order's been stale. Yeah, sure, you get your random pops, right? Your Edmundo Sosa nights. Yeah, Nick Castellanos had a game here and there. JT Realmuto had a really strong end to the regular season. Max Kepler had a good, strong end to the regular season because he was juicing. Like, there were things that the Phillies, yeah, sure, random nights, 4 through 9, the order came through. But from the consistency level, it was 1 through 3, and then everybody else. And so the fact that you provide a spark with Crawford, much like the spark you got from Harrison Bader last year, that excites me. However, we also don't know that he's going to provide a spark immediately. He might come out the gate slow. I don't think his .333 spring training batting average is going to carry over into the regular season. So that's why we're also asking you what you're setting your bar of expectations for both Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford. So as excited as I am, I do also believe we have to be relatively patient, especially with Crawford, because he's going to be seeing major league pitching. You can text in 610-632-0975. You can call in as well. Connor went with VJ Edgecomb. We've gotten a lot of Edgecomb love on YouTube recently. Eagles always on the table. A lot of people excited for the draft, which is something that I like to unpack because the last couple of years, draft talk has not been as exciting. Because when you're good and you're drafting at the back end and you have so many key players on the field under contract, draft talk hasn't been that big here. I've been at the station for 11 years now, all right? There were years where do the deal, Marcus Mariota. You guys getting tired of the A.J. Brown talk? How do you think I felt having produced daily shows about Marcus Mariota that started in like December because you knew the Eagles were going to be drafting pretty high and you knew that Howie Roseman was aggressive and you know that they needed a quarterback? We talked do the deal for months and you're tired of A.J. Brown. There has not been that buzz recently. There's been buzz post-draft, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, but I don't think anybody expected DeJean to be drafted here. Remember, at one point, he was supposed to be a top 15 pick. He falls to the second round somehow. The lead-up to drafts have not been the same as they have been in recent years. There's a reason why there's more intrigue with the lead-up this time. You have to draft the replacements of very key players. Lane Johnson, Dallas Goedert, potentially A.J. Brown. You have to start thinking about players that are going to get paid, and if you can't pay them, are you going to replace them via the draft? This draft is a really important one. I said it last week, Connor. This is the first really, really, really important draft for the Eagles, not just for the here and now, but for years to come. Every draft is important, but we're talking about the scale tipping one way or the other. If Lane Johnson's replacement, I'm not asking him to be a Hall of Famer, but if he stinks, you're in trouble. If your tight end replacement is more L.J. Smith than Dallas Goedert, you're in trouble because of how the tight end is utilized, A, by the Eagles, B, in a Sean Mannion system and a scheme. You look at all those teams, Kyle Shanahan with George Kittle, the Seahawks last year where a lot of people were comparing what Mannion does. They had A.J. Barner. You brought up Tucker Kraft last week, and the success that he was having in that Packers offense. The Eagles need a solid tight end. Not just for 1 year, for many years.
Yeah, I wonder, just your thought on this, because we brought it up earlier with the AJ stuff, and drafting a wide receiver. Do you think that reduces in any way AJ Brown's trade value if you do that? I wonder if they think about that way. Or if you just say, hey, we're losing Dotson to free agency. We needed this guy anyway. Do you think other teams look at that and say, blood in the water, the Eagles are trading AJ if they draft a guy first 2 rounds?
It all depends on how things play out. Remember, the Eagles drafted Carson Wentz to replace Sam Bradford. They got a first and a fourth for him.
Right.
Because a team desperately needed a quarterback.
Extenuating circumstances.
Right. Well, a team needed a quarterback. A team might need a wide receiver. You never know how that plays out. I get what you're saying. You know, I would imagine teams are more aggressive before the draft. Here's the one thing that I'm worried about in terms of value. Again, I don't want him traded. But in terms of value, if he does indeed get traded. Post-draft, his value might go down a little bit for some teams. Let's say the New England Patriots. Let's just use them as the example because it makes sense. The New England Patriots need a wide receiver. They like A.J. Brown. Oh, you're not going to do the deal? Well, we can't bank on us trading for him. So we're going to draft a wide receiver to get Drake May, our runner-up for MVP, a legit weapon, not a Stephon Diggs, not a Keyshawn Butte. Like, we're going to draft a first-round wide receiver. Now they don't need A.J. Brown. They could want him, but they don't need him. If you wait till post-draft, there are going to be teams that may need a wide receiver that they're going to use a draft pick on, and they go, all right, well, that takes us out of the running for A.J. Brown.
Totally fair.
And so, again, if you don't want him traded, that might be the best thing that it doesn't happen before the draft, right? It may not happen altogether. But then there's also the cap implications that a lot of people keep on pointing out. If you trade for him post-June 1st, you actually benefit it from a cap standpoint. But you don't benefit in this draft, which is why I keep on saying I don't want him traded. But if he does get traded, I'd rather it be pre-draft, deal with the cap implications, and have an extra pick high in this draft where offensive tackle is being praised, tight end is being praised, and you need both of them. 610-632-0975. What do we got on the text line?
All right, so we have a check-in on the Justin Crawford, Andrew Painter conversation. This texter says, I'll be patient with Crawford and hope he doesn't have a Brandon Marsh April. But with Andrew Painter, I'm not expecting him to be a Cy Young ever in his career. More like a number 3 starter.
So how do you say that? I don't know. I'm not going to, I don't know what his ceiling is. Our man Mike Vito. I love Mike Vito. One of the bosses here at the station. He texted me yesterday. You watching this? I'm like, yeah. I'm gonna read you his text word for
Oh, here we go.
All right. am I wrong for thinking I see a Holiday comp in the mechanics of the delivery? And I said, yes. You are wrong. He's talking about the mechanics, not like actually how he looks on the mound. I don't see Roy Holiday at all, to be quite honest.
You know, it's kind of weird. I had that thought yesterday, but no. Slow down. Yeah, I say 2 words, and all of a sudden you're rubbing your eyebrows in there.
Do you understand why, Mr. Phillies?
You want to give me a second to talk through it?
Go for it.
The way that they talk about the kid, one of the big things with Roy Halladay, he's not Doc. This kid, you can't put him at that bar. It was just like the very consistent, very even-keeled. We see it with Wheeler. We saw it with Ranger. We see it with Sanchez. Like, Painter is of that ilk, right? He's not a Jesus Luzardo, like, more emotional type of pitcher.
Gotcha.
He's very, very routine and very, very stable. I think that's something that you don't see a lot from young guys coming up. So in that aspect, I do think there's a little bit of the routine that Doc got lauded for in his career.
Okay.
That's as far as I'll go.
I just remember when Drew Smiley had the exact same windup as Cliff Lee. And there were people in this city that got excited for Drew Smiley because he was left-handed, had the exact same windup, had the exact same delivery, had nowhere near the stuff that Cliff Lee had. We get fooled by things.
Yeah,
I get it because we're excited. And our topic today is, what are you most excited by in Philadelphia sports right now? Because I want to try to change the tone of the show for at least today. We'll see we'll see what news comes out later today,
So
which we'll set up tomorrow.
Positivity Monday?
For now.
That's been a request.
Yeah, for now. You know, who knows? News might break during the show. What else we got on the text line? 610-632-0975. I wonder if there's going to be anybody that says something Flyers related.
We haven't seen it yet, but Maria checks in on what she's looking forward to and says, I'm looking forward to see how Embiid ends the season, hopefully healthy, and Philly's opening day. Want to see how Crawford and Painter do this season, and also looking forward to the end of the A.J. Brown discussion.
Yeah, look, last week we talked about it, that we're tired of it, but you got to do your job. So we got to keep talking about A.J. Brown, which is why today I just wanted to do the update and not do a whole topic on it. But when it comes to Embiid, I'm so bad at social media. You know that. Like, it's, nothing new here. I got a message from M with a bunch of letters and the number 88.
Okay.
On Instagram on Thursday. And I just saw it 10 minutes ago. So
Twitter doesn't do a good job with the message notifications.
It's Instagram.
Oh, Instagram?
Yeah, but I also got an alert saying that somebody messaged me because I congratulated them on their engagement. And they did message me back that day, 3 weeks ago, and I just got the alert.
Which ring do you care about, the engagement or the Sixers?
So this guy goes, I haven't hit you up in a minute, but I'll die on this hill. Sixers have a better chance this year to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals than they've had in the past. If, only if, Embiid stays healthy, Maxey stays a superstar, Edgecomb keeps developing into Baby D Wade, the sky's the limit. Crazy afterthought is Paul George in the lab right now getting ready to pounce. So he just dropped 4 ifs that the Sixers have the best chance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I said they need Embiid to be healthy. We all know that. That can go without saying. But I can't set myself up for that pain. I can't because I see it. I know what he's saying. I know what everybody that's excited about the Sixers is saying. You see a team that when everybody is healthy is extremely dangerous. When is the time that they've been healthy? Never. And so I can't bank on that. That's why I took the season a day at a time this year. Last year I went into the season wanting to take it a day at a time, and that day ended pretty quickly. This year I'm taking it a day at a time. So when Embiid gets hurt, I go, all right, that sucks. When Embiid plays, I get excited. They win. They're 21-12 with Joel Embiid this year. But I can't bank on him being healthy. So I appreciate the text, Maria. Thank you very much. You can continue to text in 610-632-0975. Coming up next, it's March 2nd. And I think we can already write off a team from NFC playoff contention. And no, I'm not talking about a team like the New York Giants winning 3 games. I'm talking about a team that a lot of people have eyes on. You might be able to write them off because if you're tired of the A.J. Brown drama, at least we aren't dealing with this level of dysfunction. That and the first instrumental return bed. If you get the song, if you know it, text the name of the song to 610-632-0975. If you get it right, we'll be doing this all show today. You'll be in the running for the pair of tickets for the Sixers Bulls game March 25th. and the spot and knockout. It is Kincade and Salciunas. Johnny on vacation this week, 97.5 The Fanatic. Let me tell you about that FanDuel Sportsbook app. I bet you I won't mess up next time. How about that? College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. And it's March. It is March. You know what's right around the corner. We got the tournament, man. FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. Here's how it works. Build any college hoops parlay you like. The early tip, you got the rivalry games, ranked matchups. Before you know it, we'll have conference tournaments. Mix the spreads, totals, props, whatever you want to do. Then apply your profit boost and instantly bump that potential payout. I keep on saying bet Michigan. I don't know what the odds are, lines are. I would always put Michigan down. I know they have 2 whole losses this year. That team is ridiculous. They're the team that I think will go most likely the distance in the tournament. They just have a bunch of very talented big players. The Wolverines are ridiculous. They just took down the Illini on Friday. They beat them by 14 points, number 10 Illini. Go safe, go spicy, whatever you want to do, whatever team you've been following. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside behind it. Just head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel, play your game. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Minimum 2-leg parlay required. Bonus issued as knowledgeable boost builder tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers win streak ends. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers' 3-game win streak came to a close last night after they dropped their game against the Celtics in Boston, 114-98. Tyrese Maxey did lead all scorers with 33 in the game. It was the first of an expected 3-game absence for Joel Embiid as he deals with an oblique strain, but they were out-rebounded 59-37 in the loss. Not an ideal strategy. Sixers have the night off tonight. They'll host the Spurs on Tuesday. Flyers took down the Bruins 3-1 on Saturday. They're showing signs of life for a potential playoff push. Here's what the final goal sounded right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Gets to the center. Couturier took the shot. He scores into the empty goal. Sean Couturier will ice it with his first goal in 32 games. And the Flyers now lead the Bruins 3-1.
Nice to see Coots get on the stat sheet. They have the NHL trade deadline on Friday. They'll also play the Leafs up in Toronto tonight at 7:30 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Andrew Painter made his spring training debut of the year yesterday. 2 scoreless innings and a 5-3 loss to the Yankees. Phils played the Rays today at 105. The Union fell to New York City FC 2-1 in their home opener yesterday. And they're 0-2 to start MLS play. This update is brought to you by Papa John's, introducing new pan pizza from Papa John's. Order a medium 1-topping pan pizza, just $11.99 when you download the Papa John's app or at papajohns.com. Better ingredients, better pizza. That's Papa John's. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, 7:31 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Giant K on vacation all week long, so you'll hear his voices in commercials and hourly sponsors. What we're doing today, listen closely to the music, coming out of every break today, we're playing instrumental versions of songs. You text the name of the song to 610-632-0975, and at the end of each segment, one random person, so not the first person, but one random person will be selected and will be in the running for the Sixers knockout day with the Fanatic. We announced it at 7 o'clock about 30 minutes ago. Sixers Bulls, March 25th. Get your single game tickets at Sixers.com. But also, one of the people that get to go to the game, you get a pair of tickets. One of the people get to play knockout after the game. So text in the name of the song, 610-632-0975. Connor Thomas did all the songs. My one request for him was to mix it up, different genres, different eras, so that everybody has a chance to play.
Oh, we mixed it up.
Everybody can be happy. So that was a country song. In the 2010s? I told you a country song. I didn't tell you the name of it. That was a country song in the 2010s. Connor's going to mix it up throughout the course of the show today. By the way, one comment on Knockout on our YouTube chat. Can you confirm with your brother if this was actually the conversation? Connor got knocked out early last year, blaming the shoes because he didn't have the white-soled shoes last year, and he had to borrow somebody's pair of Vans. So your brother got you a pair of sneakers this year, you're saying, for Christmas. JM said, quote, "Sir, I want to buy these shoes for my brother, please. It's Christmas Day and he sucks at basketball." Is that the conversation that your brother had with somebody at the store?
I think he bought them before Christmas. Okay. That's the only thing I'll dispute there. That's uncalled for, man. See, I'm trying to not talk about it this year. Try not to put a target on my back. It's hard when people come after me.
Damn right. All right. I'm being told how to do my job.
Aren't you always?
Point is to let the instrumental play out of the break and not talk over it, Chunas. I mean, I have to talk. You heard the bed. I think it was pretty easy to figure that one out. Next time, Cloufrins or whatever the hell your name is, I'll wait.
Also, we have like 40 people who've already gotten it.
Oh, wow. How about that? All right. As much as we are complaining about the A.J. Brown saga, right, because you're just tired of it. Hey, hand raise. Same. Just got to do my job. I also am tired of it because I don't want him traded. Like, that's what's bothering me the most. If I was somebody that wanted him traded, sure, I'd gobble up every single report. I don't want him traded. I hate this. I want the walk-on-the-field 1,000-yard receiver to be on the team that has championship window open right now. I don't want this to happen, but it might. But at least we're not the Minnesota Vikings. That is a team in the NFC that could be dangerous. Hell, just 2 years ago, they won 14 games with Sam Darnold as the quarterback, goes to Seattle. We know the story. They kept 9 instead of Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy. So McCarthy has a pretty bad first full season as a starter in the NFL. Doesn't go well. Dude's a weirdo, too. I go by my alter ego, 9. Oh, loser. Sorry. J.J. McCarthy. There was a report that dropped over the weekend that they may trade J.J. McCarthy. Like, they're already done with him. Probably doesn't help that the guy they did not keep won a Super Bowl, and you had the rough season that you had, and a lot of people kind of figured that out when he was a handoff merchant in college. But I digress. They're also telling players already, hey, if you don't get traded for, we're just going to release you. This is a team that had one of the best defenses in the National Football League last year, and has Justin Jefferson at wide receiver. This is one of these scenarios, we've talked about this with a lot of teams, that they're a quarterback away. Now, that's the biggest one, right? You'd rather be a tight end away, a wide receiver away.
I'd rather be a kicker away.
A kicker away, a safety away, right? The Vikings are a quarterback away. That's hard to hit on. The names, I feel bad for your brother who's a Vikings fan. The names that were popping up yesterday, Kyler Murray, all right, maybe a reclamation project with O'Connell as the head coach. Interesting, who knows? Geno Smith, why? Have we not learned yet? Geno Smith's a name that's popped up. Kirk Cousins is a name that popped up. There will be the ongoing Aaron Rodgers saga that continues, and you know that's just not going to end well. He'll win you enough games. Like, that's what he'll do, just like he did in Pittsburgh. He won them enough games. They lose. They're now, once again, in the middle, late end of the first round, drafting again. They won't be able to get their quarterback of the future. It's just how Pittsburgh works. They're so dumb, and that's why they moved on from Tomlin. Imagine being the Vikings. We can complain so much about A.J. Brown, and we can complain about this, complain about that, Nick Sirianni, you name it. Hey, I'm guilty of it too. I do this for a living, so I get it. A lot of you get bothered by the things we have to talk about. But imagine being the Minnesota Vikings with a defense that's comparable to the Eagles' defense, but you don't have any faith in the quarterback, and now you're going to be, looking through the dollar store for some of the quarterbacks. Could be worse. All right, what is it that you're most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now after the day where we got to see Andrew Painter make his debut? Same day Justin Crawford hits a double. Kyle Schwarber knocks him in. Beautiful. That's what it's supposed to be like. What do we got on the text line, Connor, at 610-632-0975, other than the 40-plus people that have already texted in the name of the song?
So Joe, the cynic, checks in, says, how about we let Painter see a team 2 times when games actually matter before we crown his ass?
Yeah, I'm not crowning anything. I'm just excited to see it. And this is a guy, this is a guy that we're actually going to let play out. Mick Abel last year makes his debut out of necessity. Remember, there was injuries, there's guys that weren't available. Mick Abel makes the debut, goes toe-to-toe with Paul Skeens, and then people crowned him. The man that normally sits to my left said he would hang up the phone if anyone called about Mick Abel.
Who'd you get back for him again?
He went to Minnesota. Duran.
Yeah. An all-MLB closer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was told, you know me, proven versus unknown all the time. There were a lot of people that were really scared to trade Mick Abel, who for like a year or two was being labeled a bust, and then all of a sudden pitched like 2 good games with the Phillies, and now it's, God forbid you move on from him. I was very happy with the trade, and I'm happy with Johan Duran being on the team. But Painter, you're not trying to move. Mick Abel was a trade chip for years. Andrew Painter is supposed to be a staple of your rotation. So no, Joe, I'm not going to crown him after 1 start or 1 inning or 2 innings. I'm going to give him the season. But man, Joe, I also know Joe is a seam head. You see stuff. And I saw stuff yesterday. By the way, congratulations to Justin from Northeast Philly. He's our first qualifier for the pair of Sixers tickets and the spot and knockout for March 25th against the Bulls. We will announce the actual winner at the end of the show. But every break today, during the return, you'll hear the instrumental. You text in the answer of the song, and you'll be in the running if you're the one that is selected. What else do we have on the text line?
All right, we also have a check-in from Kyle in Fox Chase, who says, I thought seeing both Justin Crawford in his first game start doing great, and then seeing Painter go 2 scoreless innings was cause for cautious excitement. I think those 2 can bring some juice to the lineup or the roster, and Garcia has his batting stance back from 2023. I'm excited about that this year.
We're breaking down batting stance.
Hey, man, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think he's necessarily done anything so far this spring. I'm, not that I'm going to, again, overvalue spring training. I don't think he's necessarily done anything yet this spring to get too excited about, right? He's not gone yard.
No.
Let's see. What is it? Dallas Garcia so far this spring. He's batting .214. He's got a double. He's got 3 hits. 2 singles and a double.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey. I hope.
You never know.
You need him.
That's the other thing, too.
That's the scary thing. You need him.
We brought it up before. Hitting will always be behind pitching to start off spring training, to start off this season, to start off any baseball season at any level. Hitting starts behind pitching.
Yeah, hitting season. Except it's only in Philadelphia. Every other team has hitting season. All right, real quick. The poll. We have a Twitter poll that will be daily here on Kincade and Salciunas. And, of course, it's brought to us by our man, Dr. Avidan Appel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. Is the Twitter poll still up?
Of course, it's always up.
Damn right it is. What do we got?
So the question is, what's the bar you're setting for both Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford? Two options: I'll be patient, or I expect immediate impact. Getting a little bit closer. 66% saying patient earlier, now down to just 60% saying that they'll be patient. 40% of folks are expecting immediate impact.
Expecting immediate impact. The people that are answering expect immediate impact, can you please either text in or immediately call in at 610-632-0975 and tell me why? Tell me why you're expecting immediate impact. Because I imagine most of us have not actually seen them live in person. And if you don't get that immediate impact that you are expecting, how would you react? Because I can't be booing Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford in the month of April. But I get it. We're talking about a championship window. Let's get some responses on that. We also have today's headlines with Connor Thomas. That comes your way next. Also, another instrumental return here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, last Thursday was awesome. So much fun at the Green Parrot in Newtown, thanks to my friends at Corona. We have another event this Wednesday. Last one until April. The Corona Sixers pregame party. So come hang out with me this Wednesday, March 4th at McCloskey's. McCloskey's Tavern in Ardmore, PA. I'll be there from 6:30 to 8:30 for our Corona Sixers pregame party. Getting you ready for tip-off. McCloskey's Tavern is the place to be. Come hang out, talk some hoops with me, and get in that Sixers game day mindset before the Sixers take on and most likely beat the Utah Jazz. We've got awesome drink specials, $5.50 Corona Extra and Corona Light bottles. Grab a cold one, enjoy the atmosphere. Perfect way to pregame and celebrate Sixers basketball. Plus, one lucky fan will be walking away with a pair of tickets to an upcoming Sixers home game, and that could be you. Our winner last week at the Green Parrot in Newtown, I thought she was about to get up on a bar stool and start dancing. That's how excited she was. Don't miss it. Wednesday, March 4th, 6:30 to 8:30, McCloskey's Tavern in Ardmore. The Corona Fanatic Sixers pregame party. I'll see you there. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
No.
It is 7:47 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. Text the name of this song to 610-632-0975. And one of the people that does get it correct will be in the running for the Sixers knockout game. Sixers-Bulls this month, March 25th. And one of you get to play knockout after the game with us. Such a fun event that we do every single year. So text the name of this song to 610-632-0975. We have today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Who?
Thomas coming up. Thomas. Mr. Tumnus. What was that? Narnia.
Yeah,
Chronicles. Are we speaking to Mr. Salisbury today at 8:05?
So he's figuring out the flight stuff. So we'll check in.
So we're
We'll see.
trying to have Jim Salisbury on because he was in the building at the ballpark yesterday watching Andrew Painter make his debut, first time in the Grapefruit League in 3 years to the day. He is flying back to the Philadelphia area, so he's trying to find a quiet spot at the airport. But we would love to get his firsthand account on how Andrew Painter looked. And again, we read you the quotes from JT Realmuto earlier today. It's one thing that you can spot your pitches during bullpen sessions. He was talking about how well he was spotting his pitches yesterday with live hitting. So that excites me. Our topic today, what are you most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now? And where are you setting your expectations for both Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford? We have a Twitter poll running because of our man, Dr. Avi Donapel. And now it's down to 59% say they'll be patient. 41% they expect immediate impact. For those of you who expect an immediate impact, tell me why. And if you don't get the immediate impact, well, how are you reacting? Because this is a championship window. But, man, these are two young kids that are supposed to be big parts of your future. By the way, I'm curious. We did the NL Rookie of the Year odds like 2 weeks ago. And because somebody texted in saying Crawford would win it. And I don't see it at all. Plus 2,200 for Justin Crawford, which is good for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Andrew Painter's plus 2,500. I would imagine a pitcher, especially versus Justin Crawford, has a better shot. Because Crawford's not in the long ball, right? Like that's going to be something that if people are voting, they would look at. If Andrew Painter has a stellar rookie season, I would rather put my money on him to win NL Rookie of the Year than Justin Crawford.
Yeah, I'm watching that Connor Griffin guy hit home runs.
No, I'm saying if I had to pick one of the two,
yes,
I would pick Andrew Painter. Yeah, Connor Griffin plus 250, odds on favorite. It was McLean last week. He has since jumped him because he just hits bombs constantly. All right, Jim Salisbury will join us at 8 o'clock. Looking forward to that. First-hand account on how Andrew Painter looked yesterday, and of course some of the other nuggets down in Clearwater and spring training. But it is time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
What we got, V?
It's brought to us by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Maybe Jason Williams back in the day needed to call Lundy Law for what he was put through. We've been talking about the rookies for the Phillies a lot, and Jason Williams was on a Barstool Sports podcast and talked about something that he had to go through when he first cracked into the NBA.
I had to ride underneath the bus from Boston Airport to the hotel one year. They loaded up the bags underneath the plane, and as a rookie, they made me help the guys load the bags from the plane to the bus and then get up under the bus and ride there.
How bad is that in the pantheon of rookie hazing stories you've heard?
I'd say that's not too bad. What? Oh, hold on. First off, I've heard a lot more horrific hazing things.
Well, yeah.
That are, like, disgusting.
I'm talking about the ones that are actually, like...
I would rather sit under the bus than be the rookie that gets handed the bill. You've seen those before where the team dinner, they rack up, like, a $10,000 bill, and it's like, here you go, rook. And sometimes they laugh it off and they actually help out, but sometimes the rookie actually pays. And I understand the rookie's going to continue to make money, but they're getting their first paycheck. All of a sudden, they're dropping like $10,000 on a bill where you probably ate some of the food and had some of the drink. And the vets aren't ordering Milwaukee's best. All right, they're ordering some expensive tequila and expensive wines. So I wouldn't say that's that bad compared to others.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point when you look at monetary versus, hey, you got to take a bus ride. So we'll see if we have any fun ones that come out with Justin Crawford and Andrew Painter as they get ready for the Philly season.
No, I don't think they will because I don't think they're allowed to have fun.
Well, we're talking about like the light stuff.
See the Gene Segura story.
Oh, my God, yeah. We'll get into that later on in the show. But that via the Hoopin' and Hollerin' podcast. This via TNT. Have you seen Bruce Pearl's most recent comments on Miami, Ohio?
I have not, but I know the story. They are 31-0 now?
29-0 now, I believe. It was a check as of today.
Oh, I think people are saying if they finish undefeated.
Yes. Here's what Bruce Pearl had to say.
Miami, Ohio, here's the deal. Are we going to select the 68 most deserving teams, or are we going to select the 68 best teams? If we're selecting the 68 best teams, then Miami, Ohio is going to have to win their tournament to qualify as a champion. Because as an at-large, they are not one of the best teams in the country.
All right, Bruce, let me ask you something. Some of these schools that we have seen over the years win their conference tournament, were they the best, one of the best 68 teams?
No.
So that's nonsense. Like, I know, look, I've looked through the schedule of the teams that they've played. I understand what he's saying. But every single year, there's a team that's just happy to be there. Multiple. There's 68 teams in it. It's like college football. When schools win their conference, you're like, all right, they're going to get spanked. And we see it play out. Miami of Ohio, even if they lose their next two, I believe deserves to be in the NCAA tournament. Nobody's naming them a 1 seed or a 2 seed. You mean to tell me you can't fit them in as like a 15 seed somewhere, Bruce Pearl?
Yeah, they're undefeated. I don't think they should have to then also win their conference and they lose their one-loss team and they don't make it. This isn't college football where you get one loss as like a non-power conference championship winner and you're out. There's how many teams and you want them out? It's crazy.
Well, there's 68 teams. I'm trying to see
Auburn kind of on the bubble. Bruce Pearl has ties to Auburn. People are wondering if he's a little bit biased in his opinion there. But
all right, you mean to tell me Miami, Ohio isn't better than Mount St. Mary's? They were one of the 16 seeds that had to play in. You mean to tell me they're not better than Robert Morris? You mean to tell me they're not better than UNC Wilmington?
I don't know. They might be. Our final story, I'll tell you, they're a little bit better than Temple. I need a statement from you. You're wearing the Temple pullover right now.
Yes.
They have not won a men's basketball game since, the 7th of February? NFL season was still going on the last time they found
Rice.
12-win Rice, 12-17. Not ideal.
12-win Rice beat 15-win Temple.
Yeah. Any comment from you as a former and always Temple Owl?
It's disappointing every single year, and it's why I keep on saying on the record, if they were to allocate funds that gets donated to them, one sport versus another, I would allocate it toward basketball and not to football. Because if you can get one player in basketball, that makes a difference. One player in football doesn't.
I'm thinking they need more Andrew Salciunas NIL donations.
I don't think they're going to get that anytime soon, considering the money I dropped this weekend when I had my sewage bubble out of the toilet, went down a vent into my air duct system this weekend.
Well, which one stinks more, your sewage or Temple's basketball team
My sewage.
this year?
My sewage.
Yes, that's very fair.
That was a rough weekend, guys. That's why I wanted to have a Positivity Monday. What are you most excited about in Philadelphia sports? For me, this comes off of the Andrew Painter start. Crawford's been doing some nice things. Jim Salisbury's down there. He joins us next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Boston dominates the Sixers on the boards. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers dropped their game in Boston last night to the Celtics 114-98, despite Tyrese Maxey leading all scorers with 33. It was the first expected three-game absence for Joel Embiid as he deals with an oblique strain, and it was obvious they were without him. The Sixers were out-rebounded 59-37 in the loss. Tyrese Maxey talked about it after the game.
When you boxing out and they shooting so many threes, they bouncing far and long. And those are the tough ones where, it's difficult, man. They shoot the three, you boxing out the corners because they crashing hard. You know that they crashing and they bounce funny tonight.
Well, that game did not go the Sixers' way, whether it was funny bounces or just not having the big man. They will take on the Spurs on Tuesday. Flyers took down the Bruins 3-1 on Saturday. They're showing lots of signs of life for a potential playoff push. NHL trade deadline is on Friday. We'll keep you updated on that. Flyers play the Leafs up in Toronto tonight at 7:30. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. Andrew Painter made his first start of the spring for the Phillies yesterday. 2 scoreless against the Yankees and a 5-3 loss. Phils play the Rays today at 1:05 p.m. Union fell to New York City FC 2-1 their home opener yesterday. We got Jim Salisbury of NBC Sports Philadelphia joining us next for an update from spring training. This update is brought to you by Staples. From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in store, or you can shop online. Staples, that was easy. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
It is 8 a.m. here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5. The Fanatic, Johnny on vacation. Sixers tickets for the spot and knockout. One pair, one spot knockout today. Text in the name of this song to 610-632-0975. One lucky winner will be entered into the running. Congratulations to John Stewart, who was our second qualifier. We'll have a third qualifier by the end of this segment. But joining us now, I haven't talked to him in a minute. He was down in Clearwater. He's ready to fly back, so we wish him a safe flight back. I'm sure he would rather stay in sunny Clearwater than come back up to 30-degree Philadelphia, but that's okay. He covers the Phillies for NBC Sports Philadelphia. My man Jim Salisbury joins us. Jim, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing great. It was nice to see Andrew Painter make his debut yesterday. You were in the building. How did you see it? And then you had the opportunity to talk to some players afterwards. So what did people make of Andrew Painter's Grapefruit League debut in 2026?
Yeah, I mean, everybody was really enthused by it. Everybody keeps it in check. It's March 1st, and it's only his first Grapefruit League start. But, it's all framed differently this spring because he's healthy. He will be counted on to be in the rotation. And, it's only 2 innings, but he threw all his pitches. He had good pop. He located it well. And the results were excellent. He was happy with it. JT Realmuto was very impressed as they build a bond. Manager was impressed. The opposing manager was impressed. And most of all, the Yankees hitters. It wasn't an A team by any means, but the Yankees hitters told you that he had something going because they didn't really square him up. He had a big strikeout of Jason Dominguez. That was impressive. So nice way to start. And he'll pitch again Saturday against the Red Sox, and expect to see him in the first week of the season. So, we've been waiting for this for a while. He's the most touted Phillies pitching prospect since Cole Hamels. There was a real chance he was going to be in the rotation in 23 as like a 20-year-old. And, unfortunately he got injured, but he's in a good place because a lot of times when you have Tommy John surgery and you go through the rehab process, it is the first time in your career for a lot of these guys that they've gone through an entire whole body physical rehab. So your whole body comes out of that stronger, and a lot of times that shows in your performance and in your overall strength. And sometimes you struggle coming out of the gate, as he did last year. But this is his second year back, and that's when a lot of times you see better results. So if, again, temper a little bit because it's only spring training. It's only one start, but lot to feel good about.
What was it that he struggled with the most last year? I understand he was coming off of Tommy John, but there's reasons why his ERA was in the 5s. What did he struggle with most last season that they are not expecting him to struggle with this season?
Control and command, just leaving balls in bad spots and getting pounded. He gave up 10 hits per 9 innings, which has never been him throughout his minor league career. Granted, it was a step up in competition. You got a few more veteran hitters that have been around a little bit, but, you leave balls over the plate, you're going to get murdered pretty much at any level, and that's what happens. So control and command. A lot of times it's command, which is, the fine-tuning of control, but he had both issues. So he walked like 4 batters per 9 innings, which is not him. So those are 2 things they really went to work on this winter. They noticed his arm angle dropped a little bit, and they believe that led to his command and control issues. They worked on getting him back to his original arm slot this winter in his workouts in Florida, and continued to do so here in Clearwater. He's feeling more natural with it, and everybody seems to believe that that's going to help him put the ball in better spots, and that's what he's got to do because he's got electric stuff.
Jim, one of the topics we're discussing today is where people are setting the bar for both Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford, 2 guys that are going to be making their major league debuts, but 2 guys that are not playing for the Chicago White Sox. They're playing for a team with a championship window. How will the Phillies go about Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford early on and throughout the course of this season?
Well, I expect Painter to take a regular turn, and I expect Crawford to be their regular center fielder out of the gate. And what you want to see from both guys is just look like you belong. Don't look like you're kind of lost, like a 16-year-old driving for the first time on the Schuylkill. Look like you can at least, you're not over your head. You don't have to be the star right away. It takes time in this game. Just talking to young players for, decades as I have, one of the big hurdles that all young players, and probably not the Bryce Harpers and the Mike Trouts, but the majority of young players, the real big hurdle kind of coming out of the gate and becoming a regular big leaguer is just believing you belong, believing you can do it, believing you can handle this level. So just come up, be yourself, and don't get buried. Don't get buried. Have good at-bats. Play good defense in the case of Crawford. Throw strikes. Go out there and try to have a good inning. Go out there and try to have a second good inning, a third good inning for Painter. Just be yourself. And on this team, they should be allowed to do that. It's a veteran lineup. They should be able to handle a rookie, break in a rookie in the lineup. It is a veteran pitching staff. They should be able to handle a young and upcoming kid and help him get through. So I think it's a good situation for both guys to break into, and it's much, much needed for the organization because you just can't rely on signing, big dollar free agents every year because, occasionally the payroll gets pinched as it is right now, and you can't continue to go out and do that. So you need, for payroll balance, you need to constantly, as guys get older and more expensive and move on, you need to be funneling in younger, less expensive talent and grow with them. So it's a good situation for both guys, and if both guys play well, it's a good situation for the team for where they are on their age curve and their winning curve.
Speaking of younger talent, Jim Salisbury of NBC Sports Philadelphia joins us here. Aiden Miller, what's the latest there? Bryce Harper sort of let the cat out of the bag that he needed to get healthy last week, and then the back issues started popping up. So what's the latest with Aiden Miller?
Yeah, he's been sidelined for over a week. Hasn't been doing much. Maybe playing a little bit of light catch, but he's got a sore back, lower back. Sore lower back. It's a recurrence. He had it late last year, so it's a concern. I mean, in any sport, if your back is not feeling good, you just can't perform. And baseball is a big one because it's so rotational. You put so much torque on your back throwing across the diamond from the left side of the infield. You put so much torque on your back as a rotational swinger. To me, it's a concern. He's missed time. You need a build-up. He's kind of, to me, hasn't done much baseball now in about 10 days. I'm starting to think that knowing this franchise and knowing, he's a young player, I don't know that he's going to open the minor league season on time unless he's on the field this week really ramping up, and I don't really see that happening. So it's a concern. Hopefully they can flush it out of him because these things can linger, and like I said, if it's a recurrence, that's where it becomes a major concern for me.
And if he was healthy, I mean, it seemed like it popped up not that long ago, the way they're talking about him, that he could make an impact with the big league club this year. How much do you buy that if he is healthy?
I'm on the side of I don't see that happening a lot. I think Bohm is your third baseman. Bohm's a big leaguer. Justin Crawford, Aiden Miller is a minor leaguer and with a very bright future and a good prospect. But I heard people say it's going to be Memorial Day. Don't see it. Didn't see it when he was healthy. Definitely don't see it now. I think he'll go to AAA and have a really good year and come to the big leagues next year when Bohm's on. Like I said, Bohm's a big leaguer. He gets such a load of crap in this town because he's not a cleanup hitter. But he has to be a cleanup hitter. If he was the number 6 hitter, the whole town would look at him completely different.
Right.
So I'm riding Alec Bohm to free agency this year, and I'm letting Aiden Miller go down and get healthy and have a great year and come to play in the big leagues next year with 500 AAA at-bats under his belt. That's win-win for Aiden Miller and the Phillies.
Jim, has Bryson Stott changed anything in terms of his approach at the plate or what he did this offseason? Again, you want to temper excitement with Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford because it's spring training, but hitting 600's hitting 600. What has Bryson Stott done differently?
He made a change in the final 2 months last season. He had a conversation with Kevin Long about making some adjustments, and Kevin Long looked at him right in the eye and says, do you want to hit 230 for the rest of your life? So he finally embraced a few of the changes they were talking about. Lowered his hands, got rid of that waggle, he basically stopped trying to lift the ball to left field, started to hit line drives more, started to use the pull side a little bit more, and when he used the off field, it was a line drive approach. So moved a little bit closer to the plate. He embraced these changes. He says he kind of shut off left field and was trying to think, line drives to the pull side more. So he was a very good hitter in the second half. He had over 800 OPS. He slugged better. He was a completely different hitter. He hit close to 300 over the final 2 months. And he looks like he's embraced those changes. He looks like a confident hitter right now. Again, it's early, but you know what? You always rather look good than look bad. And he looks very, very good. Drove a ball over the center field wall yesterday. Has driven the ball really well here early in camp. Hands are in a better position. He's lower. He's quicker to the ball. He's more direct to the ball. He looks like a different hitter. So that's really a good situation for him and the team.
All right, last thing. There's not many battles going on in camp, but do we have a sneaky battle for the right-handed platoon in left field between Otto Kemp and Brian De La Cruz?
Brian De La Cruz will be in the picture. You got Marsh. So you're probably looking at a platoon with Marsh. He's been banged up a little bit. He'll get back this week. You got Kemp. You got Dela Cruz. Who else is there? There's Dylan Moore. So I think it's all going to shake out. But, Dela Cruz is an interesting guy. He's got some time. They really are high. They think there's a lot of potential in Kemp's bat. So I think they might be leaning that way a little bit. They just like some of the adjustments he made when he came back from AAA last year, his second stint in Philadelphia, and they like the fact that he had a couple surgical tune-ups in the offseason. He's a little bit healthier, but I mean, if Dela Cruz wants to go pedal to the metal and get comfortable on people, Kemp does have options.
Jim, have a safe flight back. You in the beautiful Tampa airport. I love that airport. It's the best one that I've ever been to. Have a safe flight back, and we'll talk to you again once the season starts.
All right. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Jim. There's Jim Salisbury, NBC Sports Philadelphia. Been a while since I've been allowed to talk to Jim on the radio.
Yeah, Jimmy's the best.
It's been some time. I love Jim Salisbury. Again, I used to host the Fanatic baseball show here, so I used to have Jim on once a week. He's a good man, good Philadelphian. Loves his Wawa, loves his Phillies, loves his baseball as a reporter. I know they're obsessed with Otto Kemp. I know it. And I'm not sitting here saying that Brian De La Cruz, because he hit a home run, is now all of a sudden like key in left field. I just go back to when Charlotte Varnes of The Athletic joined us, was that a week ago or 2 weeks ago? And she basically said, don't just believe that Otto Kemp is the right-handed hitting platoon mate with Brandon Marsh in left field. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Now, both of those guys could make the team, Kemp and De La Cruz, right? Because Kemp can play both infield and outfield.
Sure.
Not well at third base after we saw.
I wouldn't even try it, but whatever.
But the thing is, like, somebody goes down, you need a stand-in for a week. Like, Kemp can play in the infield. He has infield experience. Yeah. So then you can bring on another outfielder who may not necessarily be the platoon guy, but just your extra outfielder. So that could be a Rojas if they want to go down that road again.
Which, by the way, have we got? I didn't ask Jim because it kind of popped up. Did you see this stuff about Rojas yesterday?
I did not. I must have missed it after the game.
So Johan Rojas was originally on the World Baseball Classic roster, and now all of a sudden he's not. And there's reports out there. I guess I can credit Forbes. I see it on Forbes that he was banned because he tested positive for a substance. But people are trying to figure out, all right, what is this? Because there are different rules for the World Baseball Classic than Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Like Alvarado was supposed to go. He couldn't get the insurance that he needed to go, so now he's not going. It's not the same thing as just like getting ready for the season. So we'll see what comes out on
But
that.
Something happened where he is no longer on like he was on his country's roster. He is no longer on his country's roster. So something happened.
Was he hanging out with Kepler last season? I don't know.
I don't know. Or he was hanging out with Paul George. I don't know. Like something came up where Ramley was off. All right, before we get back to our text, I'm glad that I asked and he answered the Aiden Miller question. I don't know where that came from. Like out of nowhere, he's going to be on the big league club and start. That's the big thing. Last year, the reason why Justin Crawford didn't come up, it wasn't his age, even though we like to make fun of that with the Phillies. It's because they told you he did not have a place to play every day. That when they call up these guys, they want to be able to play them every day and not sit them. Like one of the worst things that Gabe Kapler ever did was, let's call up Scott Kingery, but let's not play him every single day. Like, especially when you stink. That team stunk. You should have let the young players play every single day. You can't call up Aiden Miller and have him sit. That's the thing I got confused by. I think it was Cole Weintraub one of his bold predictions was that after the All-Star break, he'll be an everyday starter. Sure, if somebody gets hurt and you're desperate, but I'm not banking on an injury being the reason why somebody's an everyday player. And that's before the back issue popped up. And now that the back issue pops up, Jim Salisbury letting us know he wouldn't be surprised if he didn't even start the minor league season in AAA healthy. By the way, congratulations to Shane Stone. name. Third qualifier. Sixers tickets for the game on March 25th against the Bulls. It's also knockout day. So if you're just tuning in, we announced it at 7 o'clock this morning, the return of the Fanatic Knockout, March 25th, so this month. Every day this week on this show and other shows on the Fanatic, but I'm talking for Kincade and Salciunas here. By the way, Johnny the K on vacation this week. Every day this week, we have a pair of tickets to give for that game, and one of you get to play in Knockout. So what we're doing today, coming out of every single commercial break, you hear the instrumental of a song. You text the name of the song to 610-632-0975. You don't have to be the first one. You just have to get it right, and one of you will be in the running for the pair of tickets and the spot and knockout for the Sixers game against the Bulls. You can get your single game tickets at Sixers.com. Of course, this all takes place at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Our topic today, what are you most excited about in Philadelphia sports? We're doing this off of Andrew Painter making his debut yesterday. Last week sucked with the constant A.J. Brown talk. So what are you excited about? Let's have a fun, happy Monday morning. And for Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford, where are you setting the bar? Have we got any answers from the people that expect an immediate impact? Because our Twitter poll, which is brought to us by our friends at Dr. Avi Donapel, Iron Mountain Men's Health, the Twitter poll is always strong, thanks to Dr. Avi Donapel. 57% now. It's gone down even more. The poll's going up, but the 1% is going down. 57% are saying they'll be patient. 43% of people voting believe that Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford will make an immediate impact. I want to know why you're saying that. And if they don't, then what? Like, are you going to freak out? What do we got on the text line?
Now, we do have folks that are a little bit more bullish. Bobcat from Kennett Square checks in, says the guy who just texted in saying, let's see Painter do it twice versus a team when it counts is the same guy who would have buried Painter if he had a bad outing. Guy looked promising. Why can't we celebrate when teams, players do what we're expecting them to do? It's a good sign, and let's see how his next outing goes.
Yeah, look, I know Joe. I don't think Joe is saying, like, don't get excited. He's like Jim Salisbury said, temper your expectations.
Also, his name's Joe the Cynic on the text line for a reason.
Well,
right?
Jim the Salisbury Steaks is saying to temper your excitement as well. He said it was 2 innings, but eye test, the stuff was there, the command was there. As Jim said, it wasn't against the Yankees opening day lineup. Does the Yankees opening day lineup tee off on Andrew Painter? Not sure. We'll find out. What else we got on the text line? 610-632-0975.
We also have a check-in from Matt in Marlton on what he's excited for. He says, I'm excited for parking lot beers at the bank, sunny evenings, and watching and listening to the Phils. Also think the Sixers could make a little noise if they continue on this trajectory.
Well, they lost by, like, how many yesterday?
Won 3 of their last 4.
Okay.
It's a good trajectory.
Look, the trajectory is Joel Embiid healthy?
Yeah, of course.
And I can't play that game anymore.
Well, that's the only game we have to play.
No, I will wait and see. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I've been doing for 2 years now. And the wait and see game lasted like a whole 5 minutes last year. This year, wait and see. Yeah, they're dangerous. It wasn't that long ago where ESPN was saying they're the most dangerous team if healthy. But if healthy, odds are, if you just go off of history, they won't be. Not saying they can't be. I'm excited for them if they're healthy. I think they are good. Could use a little help off the bench, though. Thunder are getting that. You'll hear about that coming up later on this hour. But first, coming up next, hear the instrumental return. Another chance for you to be in the running for the Sixers-Bulls tickets and the spot knockout. But we got a little Eagles talk to get to. And no, it's not about A.J. Brown. It seems like we have learned the price range of an Eagle who is hitting the free agent market. I'll tell you who, I'll tell you how much, and who they'd be compared to in terms of the money. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Rebounding issues for the Sixers. I'm Connor Thomas. The Sixers dropped their game in Boston to the Celtics last night. 114-98 the final. Tyrese Maxey did lead all scorers with 33, but it was the first of an expected 3-game absence for Joel Embiid as he deals with an oblique strain. The Sixers clearly missed the big man. They were out-rebounded 59-37 in the loss. Nick Nurse talked about it after the game.
I just didn't think we made enough shots. Really, I think it probably would have juiced us up a little more if we would have hit some of the open shots we were getting. And a lot of those rebounds were long ones, and we just couldn't seem to get out of the kind of the hole when they were long rebounds to go chase them. Really hurt us.
Sixers have the night off tonight. They'll host the Spurs on Tuesday. Flyers took down the Bruins 3-1 on Saturday. Nice win for them. With the NHL trade deadline on Friday, we'll keep you updated on what moves they could look to make. They play the Leafs up in Toronto tonight at 7:30. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. Andrew Painter made his first start of the spring for the Phillies yesterday as they took on the Yankees. He threw 2 scoreless in the 5-3 loss. Phillies play the Rays today at 1:05 p.m. Union felt the New York City Football Club 2-1 in their home opener yesterday. They're now 0-2 to start MLS play. This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Time's running out. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale ends soon. Let their sleep experts help find the perfect bed for you. They make sleep easy at Mattress Firm. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
It is 8:29 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. Text the name of this song to 610-632-0975. And if you get it right, and then you're selected, you don't have to be the first one, just one of the random ones to get it right, you will be in the running for the pair of tickets, Sixers Bulls, March 25th, and the spot in Knockout. We announced it today at 7 o'clock. We're doing this every return. So you still have another shot at 8:47, 9 o'clock, 9:30, 9:47. So 4 more after that.
Yeah, that was a CT special right there. I love that song.
I don't think I knew it.
That's the toughest one we've done so far.
I did not know that one. I've known every single one but that one.
You'd know it with the lyrics. I'll just say that.
Okay. So first person to text in the correct answer, or no, I'm sorry, not the first person. If you text in the correct answer, you'll be in the running, 610-632-0975. So you don't have to rush to your phone, right? You have time. By the end of the segment, we will let the winner know that they're in the running. All right. The NFL new league year is right around the corner. We have legal tampering 1 week from today. Legal tampering. So not the illegal tampering. That's happening right now at the Combine. The legal tampering 1 week from today, noon. The one downside of working mornings, man, was it fun doing middays when legal tampering opened up. However, probably right around the 9 o'clock hour is when we'll start getting a lot of the buzz. Was I doing this show in Barkley yet? I forget. What show was I working?
You tell me. I don't know.
It's been a long time. All right, Saquon Barkley signed 2024. Yeah, so I think, no, I was doing middays at the time. Because we started, what, March 20-something?
Yeah.
So I think I was on the air, I believe it was with Tom Alvord, our old buddy Tom, when the Saquon stuff started heating up. And Diana Rossini, who none of you trust, said it was down to 2 teams, Eagles and Texans. And the Texans didn't want to match the money. And he came to the Philadelphia Eagles. And then the rest is history. They win the Super Bowl. He does the reverse hurdle. Ridiculous, right? Saquon Barkley. So that's 1 week from today. There is a player that I think will get the most talk in terms of free agency. So not A.J. Brown. In terms of free agency, more so than Dallas Goedert, and it's going to be Jalen Phillips. And what Jalen Phillips will get and whether or not the Eagles pay it. So I was reading an article on NBC Sports Philadelphia this morning by Reuben Frank, and he was asking the question whether or not Jalen Phillips is worthy of what people are saying will be $20 million or more on an annual basis. All right? $20 million or more. So I don't know what the or more is. He's not getting what Micah Parsons got, which is $46.5 million per year. My God, congratulations to you and your 8 lines of ancestors after you. My God, must be nice. Must be nice. So if we just start at $22 million, that's George Karlaftis. He gets $22 million per year. Andrew Van Ginkel of the Vikings gets 23. Rashawn Gary of the Packers gets 24. Montez Sweat, 24.5. Nick Benito, 26.5. So let's go in that range, right, of those players. Nice players. Absolutely nice players. What John, who's on vacation this week, has been saying is he likes Jalen Phillips, but he needs sacks if somebody is paying you $20+ million. I believe Jalen Phillips' impact is not just whether or not there's a number under the sack total. I'm not paying him $46.5 million where Micah Parsons, it's not just setting the edge, it's also getting sacks. Aiden Hutchinson at 45 per. TJ Watt at 41. Myles Garrett at 40. Right? You're not paying Jalen Phillips that type of money. There's a reason why Jalen Phillips is going to get 20 or more, but I don't think we're starting with a 3. I think it's going to be in that $20 million range. I can't trust the health of Nolan Smith. It's the way he plays. It's the physical nature. Yeah, the dude's cut, but he's a smaller body, and he gets hurt. He's so physical that he actually leads to some of the injuries that he gets. Jalen Hunt stepped up big time last year, but we saw a change with the front four when they acquired Jalen Phillips. I'll keep on saying it. In fairness, Nolan Smith was out with the injury, but again, I can't count on him staying healthy. We're at a point right now where a lot of money is going to be allocated to the defense. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell eventually, Cooper DeJean eventually. I'm sure they can find a way to afford Jalen Phillips. It's just whether or not it's the right decision.
It's tough because there's this inherent bias that you have to get over if you're trying to decide about this. And we have this with every team in Philly. It's the our guy versus guy we acquired, right? I feel like I lean back on the whole Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, like that grouping of players because they've been here and I've been wanting the Eagles to pay him. And now it's just like, okay, Jalen Phillips, do we have the same type of desire to have him on the team compared to guys that we expected to be here for a long time?
Yeah, but like, do you still expect Nolan Smith? Like, there was what we talked about. I forget who we talked about it with earlier. We like to really get excited for players early, and I get it because we'd rather be excited than miserable. There were people that did not want to include in the hypothetical trades for Myles Garrett, Nolan Smith. That's asinine. All right? Like, it tells me that I don't blame you, but you haven't watched a second of Cleveland Browns football except for when the Browns played the Eagles.
Okay, and guess what? We had people who didn't want to trade Stott for Ohtani, and we had people who didn't want to trade Maxey for KD. Now, one of those might have worked out with the Maxey thing, but like it happens with every team all the time.
I know we do that. I know we do. But we also have to realize that some players are better than others. And I really like Jalen Phillips. You guys know that, right? I really like him. But I even have to question, what's the walkaway number for the Eagles? Not for Jalen Phillips, for the Eagles. Because they have a lot of guys they have to pay. There is talks about when Jalen Hurts, if Jalen Hurts gets this extension. I imagine that he gets the extension, but if he gets the extension, that's going to take up a big chunk of your cap space. The problem with this draft, whether you trade A.J. Brown or not, you do have to go into it with need. And need is offensive tackle, the replacement of Lane Johnson. Need is tight end, with the replacement of Dallas Goedert, unless you're going to trade for somebody that's, entering the final year of their rookie deal, and then you do the whole song and dance again about another extension, kind of like what the Eagles did with A.J. Brown. They traded for him with the extension. I mean, they signed the extension like 5 minutes later. Edge rusher is something that if they do let Jalen Phillips walk, they're going to need to address because you can't count on Nolan Smith staying healthy. I'm sorry. It's a great story that Brandon Graham's still around, but he's going to play 10 snaps.
Right, but it's not as much as those other positions. Like, if AJ gets traded, you immediately have to address wide receiver, right? We know you have to address
and if you trade him, you're getting – I would want a first.
Sure.
Let's say you're getting a high 2. You still have a first round and 2 seconds.
But that could be after the draft, and we have to potentially live in that world. My point is, those are more immediate. If Jalen Phillips walks in free agency and someone gives him $25 million, you have Jalen Hunt, you have Nolan Smith, you have Brandon Graham. You have enough to survive at that position. You're a big-time pass rush guy.
I love pass rush.
You always have been.
I'm a defense wins championships guy.
Sure, and they're still going to have a really good defense, right? Even if Jalen Phillips walks out the door. So that is one of the more survivable free agency losses, and that's why I'd be shocked if he's back.
Okay. You'd be shocked.
I'd be shocked.
At what number? Like 20, okay. But if it balloons up to 25, 27.
Even 20, I don't think they'll make that investment at that position with all of the questions. Think about the cap number that you're going to have to take on for this next season if you trade AJ. Like, think about the other moves that you're going to have to potentially make. You might not just have to have that cap number. You might have to sign another wide receiver in free agency, depending on what you evaluate in the draft. And there are other things you have to. They need to bring in offensive line depth, not just through the draft, but through free agency. Guys ready to play now, because what they had in depth was not cutting it last year. So there's a lot more pressing than having 4 deep at the edge rusher position that you feel at least knowledgeable about what they can give you. That's why I don't think he's back, man.
All right.
You got to come to terms with that. Are you going to be okay?
I'm going to be sad. The dude's good, and he liked being here.
Is this borderline devastating?
Happy Davis? No, because if Dallas Goedert did not resign last year, I thought they were in trouble. And look at the impact he made with them.
Good thing they weren't in trouble. Glad we avoided the trouble.
Yeah, it's so much fun with the offense last year. All right, congrats to Trevor from Percy, our fourth qualifier for the Sixers-Bulls tickets and the spot in Knockout, March 25th. We'll announce the overall winner at the end of the show today, but at the end of, or coming out of every single commercial, we're playing instrumentals. You text in the right name of the song, and you might be picked to be one of the guys that will be, or gals, that will be in the running for the Sixers Knockout Night, March 25th at the Xfinity Mobile Arena.
By the way, real quick, we haven't told people what the songs are. So just to run back.
Oh, yeah, what do we got? Chicken Fry was the first
Chicken
one.
Fried, No One by Alicia Keys was the second. No Role Models by J. Cole the third. And that one right there, the Trevor just won, was Keep Your Hands to Yourself by the Georgia Satellites.
All right.
It's a great song. You'd know it with the lyrics. I'll play it for you.
John's not
one of
here.
these
You
days.
did Georgia?
What do you mean?
Mr. ATL's not here.
Yes, though.
What's giving you your inspiration for these songs?
Nothing. I don't know. It's just stream of consciousness, baby. I'm trying to cover different genres throughout. Like I'm trying to get all of them.
Genres and eras was something that we needed to do so that everybody has a chance.
That
to win.
one we're going back a ways. We might have some ones even further back.
All right, that sounds good. All right, what do we got on the text line? Our question today: what is it that you're most excited about in Philadelphia sports? How about that? A day of positivity on the show. I'm sure some of you are shocked. What do we got?
All right, this texter checks in and actually wants to jump in, Big Leo, on the Jalen Phillips conversation. He says, nobody was looking for Jalen Phillips last year until Howie traded for him. I'm sure Howie can trade again during the season. We can't afford to keep him with the players we need to sign.
Not necessarily true. I remember Andrew DeCecco talking about Jalen Phillips in like week 2, like early.
Yeah.
Because we all knew they needed it. They needed somebody at the edge rusher position. That was my biggest fear going into the season last year, was saying, here you go, Nolan. Here you go, Jalix. Here are the keys to the 2 key spots at the edge rusher position. After losing Josh Sweat, after Brandon Graham retired and was playing at a high level, having to replace Bryce Huff, who was a disaster, I was not too confident in those 2 guys. Jalix Hunt played really well last year. Hopefully he takes another step forward. But Nolan Smith, the guy's hurt all the time. So Jalen Phillips was talked about pretty early on. I just worry that we're going to be right back in the same boat again of needing to acquire an edge rusher in the middle of the season. But as Connor said, maybe you can survive until then. You can continue to text in on that topic, 610-632-0975. Coming up next, I said it earlier, it would be nice if the Sixers had some help off the bench. Will the Oklahoma City Thunder be the reason why? The reason why people demand change here in Philadelphia with the Sixers. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
The official start of the 2026 NFL calendar is less
This is a special song in my lifetime.
Oh, is it?
Yes. It was the song. And for the first time, let me welcome Mr. and Mrs. Salciunas.
Did you forget your name for a second there?
Yeah. This was the song that Chrissy and I walked out to.
Interesting.
During the reception.
I think that's a good one.
It may have been the song that, first introduced ourselves.
Was this the stuck out in the car past curfew night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
You dog, you.
If I had more time, I'd tell that story. Speaking of driving home way past curfew and seeing all the lights on at the house, and knowing that as soon as I opened up the door, seeing my mom and dad sitting at the kitchen table, I knew I was in a world of trouble. My dad has chimed in on today's topic about the bar set for both Justin Crawford and Andrew Painter. Papa Salciunas says, I expect Painter and Crawford to deliver now. They've been prepped in the minors for years. Time to step up and show what they have. That's the kind of insight that I get from Papa Salciunas. What is the bar that you're setting for both Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford? We have a Twitter poll running. We'll update that in the 9 o'clock hour. It's coming off of our topic where we ask, what are you most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now? Because Andrew Painter had his debut yesterday and excited me. I was excited watching Andrew Painter. I'm not going to overreact to it. I'm not about to call him Doc Holliday. But I was excited to see him go out there. He had his good stuff. He had good command. He hit his spots. And then when JT Realmuto speaks as highly as he does after that good outing, that makes me smile. And then Jim Salisbury, who joined us earlier today, talked about how good the stuff looked yesterday. Talked to a lot of people. There's a lot of excitement for Andrew Painter. You can climb in at 610-632-0975. About to bring up a Sixers thing, but real quick, if you're a head coach of a basketball team that has the worst record in the association, are you allowed to do smelling salts before the game starts?
Yes. In fact, I think you should be encouraged to. You got to change something.
I just saw a video. Sixers air on NBC Sports Philadelphia. How about NBC Sports, I guess, Sacramento? The Kings, Doug Christie, before games, I did not realize is doing smelling salts before the game.
It helps. I got salted at the bar this weekend.
It helps. It helps what? They have 14 wins.
Fires you up, man. Gets you ready to go.
Gets you ready to be miserable coaching that dreck of a team. All right, so I'm driving into work this morning. I believe it was 4:29 I heard it?
I think this one was 4:42.
4:42. All right, 4:42 in the morning. I'm driving into work, minding my own business. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes I listen to the overnight. All right, and I'm listening to the overnight. And they were talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder, 47-15 on the season. Best record in the NBA. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had another ridiculous game. He has some streak going. He is the longest 20-point stretch on road games ever. He surpassed Wilt Chamberlain yesterday. And he is going for the record for the most straight games with at least 20 points. So that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But the guy who does the post-game interviews for the FanDuel Sportsbook Network had this to say/question Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
As a playmaker, you got your scoring, but then you seem to get these little flurries from guys throughout the game. Isaiah Joe, Jared McCain, so many different guys that can give you these little punches. What does that do for you during the flow of a 48-minute game?
Yeah, it makes the game easy. Teams really have to pick their poison defensively. Whether they're going to sell out with my drive and my playmaking, or if they're going to guard my teammates. And that's just a battle that we've gone through year in and year out, and we're getting better at it each and every year. The guys get better, and my teammates get better. It makes me better.
Notice the two names the reporter said specifically. Isaiah Joe and Jared McCain. And once more, no, nobody is overrating those players where they would be some superstar. But man, wouldn't it be nice if you had a guy that could shoot threes like Isaiah Joe, who for whatever reason Doc Rivers tried turning into a point guard? It wasn't going to work. It didn't work. He just had another ho-hum 3 for 7 from 3 off the bench in 20 minutes yesterday. No, I'm not calling him Reggie Miller. But when you go to the bench, you would like to have players that don't stink. And for a long time, the Sixers go to the bench to players that stink. It is criminal that Furkan Korkmaz is in the top 10 all time in 3 points made for Sixers franchise history. He sucked. He was abysmal. I hated him. You gave up on Isaiah Joe for no reason. None. It's not like you got something for him. You just gave up on him. And the same goes for Jared McCain, who has made an immediate impact off the bench for the team that's the defending NBA champions. And a lot of people will pick to win the NBA championship again this year. I'm not trying to overrate Jared McCain because I don't think of him as highly as a lot of Sixers fans did. But I also wasn't trying to ship him out of here for, let's see what this late 20th pick is going to get us.
Yeah. Nothing you said there was incorrect, right? I don't disagree with your thought process. But this weekend, stuff kind of hit a fever pitch on social media of
because Embiid got hurt, Sixers lose to the Celtics, and Jared McCain keeps playing well for the Thunder.
Everybody needs to slow down a little bit. The guy has played, 10 games now with the Oklahoma City Thunder, right?
He's played well in all of them but one in terms of a point total. He has had double digits in every game since February 11th, except for one when he finished with 5 points against the Raptors. But in every game since February 11th, double digits, and he's playing a role. He could have played a role here. But for whatever reason, they did not see that role. This is, to me, more of an indictment on Nick Nurse than Daryl Morey. Now, Daryl Morey still shouldn't have just traded him and hoped for the best, because that's what he did. He admitted it. He hoped that he was able to make a secondary move after that. But the fact that Nick Nurse couldn't get this guy on the court, just like Doc Rivers could not figure out a way to play Isaiah Joe, so that's an indictment on Doc Rivers, which there's a lot of those. I don't get it, because it's not like Sixers fans weren't excited about those players. Yeah, we've overrated players in this town. You and Matisse Thybulle. I hated him in terms of a basketball player. Overrated defender. But, people saw what McCain could do in a very short period of time. Isaiah Joe shot the three, shot it well, and it's something that the Sixers just don't have, ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't agree with the move, saying, hey, you guys are all wrong. They should have done this, and here's why. All I'm saying is the people who are like, this will haunt the Sixers for years.
Yeah, it's not going to.
No. Was it a nonsensical move because they didn't have something else lined up? You can make that argument, for sure. Just some people are going too far in 10 games of Jared McCain with another team. You got to just let this play out a little bit more before we say, oh, this is the worst thing that ever happened to Philadelphia.
No, there have been worse things that have happened to Philadelphia in terms of sports. But it would also be nice to have a young player that people are excited about that is now playing even better with the defending NBA champions.
Yeah, and my only argument is he would not change the ceiling of what this year's team is.
No, but he could have been a better bench piece than a lot of the guys they trot out there.
Yes, and at the end of the day, you're going to end up in the same spot end of the year with McCain or without McCain. Doesn't make it the right move. It just means it's not as bad of a move as some people are setting it up to be.
All right. Coming up next, you'll hear our show reset that airs every day at 9 o'clock. Today, we're talking about what you're most excited about in Philadelphia sports. I'm going to ask Mr. Phillies over there for tips on the Philadelphia Phillies stock exchange. Who you're buying stock in, because spring training is also a time where a lot of people make mistakes. We'll do that. Also, another instrumental for your chance to be in the running for the knockout. Sixers Bulls, March 25th. It is Kincade and Salciunas. Johnny on vacation, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers get crushed on the glass and on the scoreboard. I'm Connor Thomas. The Sixers dropped their game in Boston 114-98 yesterday. Tyrese Maxey leading all scorers with 33 in the game, but still the loss, and it was the first of an expected 3-game absence for Joel Embiid as he deals with an oblique strain. The Sixers out-rebounded 59-37 in that loss to the Celtics. They have the night off tonight. They're going to host the Spurs on Tuesday. Flyers beat the Bruins 3-1 on Saturday. They're showing some signs of life for a potential playoff push. Here's what the final goal sounded like right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Gets to the center. Couturier took the shot. He scores into the empty goal. Sean Couturier will ice it with his first goal in 32 games. And the Flyers now lead the Bruins 3-1.
Sure, it was an empty netter, but it's nice to see Couturier get on the score sheet there. They play the Leafs up in Toronto tonight at 7:30 p.m. We'll keep you updated on the trade deadline news. That's Friday in the NHL as well. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. Andrew Painter made his first start of the spring for the Phillies yesterday through 2 scoreless against the Yankees in a 5-3 loss. They play the Rays today at 1:05. Union fell to New York City FC 2-1 in their home opener yesterday. This update is brought to you by Corona. Join Andrew Salciunas Wednesday, March 4th from 6:30 to 8:30 at McCluskey's Tavern in Ardmore for a Corona Sixers pregame party. Enjoy $5.50 Corona bottles and your chance to win Sixers home game tickets. Must be 21. Drink responsibly. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Kincade and Salciunas, 6 to 10 a.m. Have to say. Don't worry, we will. But first, let's hear what they got into earlier today on Kincade and Salciunas.
What are you most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now? For me, it's seeing hope. And the hope is those 2 players that made an impact for the Phillies. I'm not going to overrate spring training game. All right? They're not playing the opening day rosters of other teams. Justin Crawford batting .333 so far in spring training does not mean that's going to translate to the major league level. All right, I'm not going to fool myself. I did that when I was a child with Hector Luna batting over 300 1 year in spring training. But I can see certain things where I go, all right, this is what the Phillies farm system has been talking to you about. This is what the guys that cover it, the scouting department, have been telling you about.
I'll take another one. VJ Edgecomb, Tyrese Maxey. That backcourt tandem, they're incredible. And Maxey is the vet in that group, and he's 25 years old.
25, the vet.
Like, this dude is having an all-NBA caliber season. All-star starter, all kinds of accolades and awards. Franchise three-point leader at 25 years old. There is a lot of upside with those 2 players, and for all of the storm that goes on around them with the injuries that team has to deal with and the Paul George suspension, I'm still excited to see how they get into the more impactful games of the season as they make the playoff push. And then when they do, whether it's the play-in games or the actual playoffs, get those opportunities. Like, what does VJ look like in the big moments? What does this version of Maxey look like in a postseason series? Does he have another level he can get to?
Now, back to the show.
I will set it.
Yeah, don't give it away.
It's kind of hard not to. All right. If you know the name of this song, text it to 610-632-0975. If you get it right, we will select one of the people that got it right to be in the running for the Sixers Bulls tickets and knockout on March 25th. Get your single game tickets at Sixers.com. It'll be at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. We have a bunch of qualifiers. We have 2 more returns at 9:30, 9:47, and then we'll pick one lucky winner. You just heard the little recap of what we've been discussing today. What are you most excited about in Philadelphia sports? I thought of this yesterday watching Andrew Painter because you know how aggravating the Phillies are for me. It's not that I'm not excited for the season. I am. I love the Phillies. I love baseball. I love having something to watch every single night. I love having something to watch Saturday 4 o'clock, Sunday 1 o'clock. Like I love having that companion every single day. My son got into it a lot more last year. Like I'm excited for that. Listening to it on the radio if we're out back playing something, right? Like it's beautiful. I miss it so much. But the team aggravates me. And that's why more than half the time, I sound annoyed. But I'm excited for Andrew Painter. I'm excited for Justin Crawford. I'm excited for youthful energy on this baseball team. I hope they're allowed to express themselves. I hope Bryce Harper does not crack down on people like he did with Edmundo Sosa last year. We don't do that around here, and yet he does it, slamming helmets, and so does Alec Boehm. The Gene Segura story was an interesting one. Now, Gene Segura should not have a FaceTime
on a speaker. I don't blame Bryce for that one.
Now, this is Gene Segura's side of the story when he said, "Get the bleep out of here." Was it a "Yo, dude, get that out of here," or was it a "Get the bleep out of here"? We don't know.
Like I say that to you every day in like an argument off the air, and it's not like, "Oh, I hate you, get out of the room." There are lighter ways to say it. Why are you raising your eyebrows?
There are lighter ways to say it. So we don't know to the extent that Bryce Harper said that. But I do know that Bryce Harper told Edmundo Sosa not to show emotion by slamming a helmet on the ground, and yet I've seen Bryce Harper do it, and I go, all right, hello, Pot. You know, like, what are we doing here? But I'm excited for the youthful energy with this Phillies team. What are you most excited about right now? 610-632-0975. Now, you heard in the recap that I'm not going to get overly excited for a .333 batting average by Justin Crawford because as a child, I thought Hector Luna was going to be an impact player. Hector Luna in 2012 batted .302 with the Phillies in spring training, hitting 3 home runs in just 30 games. I was like, all right, give me the moon. I'm all about it. Hector Luna, let's go. Did not make the club. I was devastated. He did, however, eventually get called up May 11th because Lance with a Y Knicks got hurt, and he had to get called up. He had a grand slam in his first at-bat 5 days later against the Cubs at Wrigley Field, and then he was released in August. And I was devastated. Hector Luna, man. And that was it. I don't think he ever played in the major leagues again. His last stop was with the Philadelphia Phillies. He did eventually play for the Chunichi Dragons.
You might be the only person that carries the scars of Hector Luna's time with the Phillies.
No.
With you.
No, the scars is I've learned from my previous mistakes of getting overly excited for spring training action. That happened when I was a senior in high school. I was a young lad. All right, it's been a while since I've made that mistake, getting overly excited for spring training, except for one guy. I was down there watching Christian Pache rake, and I was like, dude, this pop off is bad, man. I also hate Johan Rojas. So, like, I was definitely biased when I was watching Christian. Like, I was trying to watch anybody to not be Johan Rojas, and I got overly excited for some BP. I made that mistake. Never again, Connor.
Yeah,
Never
Christian
again.
Pache turned into Johan Rojas 2.0.
Yeah, they were the same player, so with a little more pop. All right, what do we got on the text line? What are people most excited about in Philadelphia sports right now? And then we're going to go to the Philadelphia Phillies Stock Exchange because you are Mr. Positive more often than not when it comes to the Phillies. And there are some players that are showing out so far this spring or not. So you could buy high, you can buy low on some of these players. But what do we got on the text line?
All right, so Karate Mark checks in, says, most excited about in Philly sports. Sixers came into the season with no expectations, so just loving VJ Max. Phillies, summer baseball is always awesome, and Phillies will be at least good. Eagles, every week still a party, regardless of the way the season went on, and let's ride is how he ends that.
Last time you and me, because I've seen Mark since then, but the last time you and I hung out with Karate Mark was when the Phillies won their lone playoff game.
Game 3, baby.
Kyle Schwarber went yard. Aaron Nola dazzled for 3 innings, and then Ranger came in because he wasn't used in Game 1.
Yeah, we had a nice watch party at Kavanaugh's.
That's right.
Cavs Rittenhouse. Thank you for having us.
All right, what else we got?
Ryan in Florida says, I'm excited for Howie Roseman to turn A.J. Brown into 2 perennial Pro Bowl draft picks like he did with Wentz.
Yeah, see, like, that's the thing. If they trade A.J. Brown, I will be upset because I think he's a really, really, really good football player. 4 straight years, 1,000 yards in this offense. All right? Like, I don't want to lose that. I like when Howie says we get better by keeping good players and not subtracting them. But if it gets to a point where A.J. Brown is requesting a trade, which, again, his agent is working with other teams, we got to just come to terms with it. And if that does indeed happen and you get, I don't want a second-round pick, but let's just say the highest round pick you get is a 2. You have your late first, you have 2 2s and a 3. Jeff McClain talked about packaging to try to get up to the top 10 to draft one of the tackles. They need somebody. I love A.J. Brown. But you know what I'm not going to love? A turnstile at right tackle in 2 years. I'm not going to love not having a tight end that makes an impact because the Eagles have had that for the last 25 years. And the more draft picks, the more opportunities to select players that you need. And also, you can then also draft best player available in certain spots. We're talking about edge rusher. If they don't sign Jalen Phillips, you're going to need a body there. You're going to need potentially another corner. The kick out Cooper DeJean to the outside might not happen. I've been talking about how if you're a lead at a spot, I don't want to move you. Right? I got some pushback from some people before the football season started. Howie Roseman straight up said it in his last press conference that Cooper DeJean is so elite at that position, he is afraid to potentially make 2 holes. He's saying, I'm not saying he can't be elite at the outside corner, but we don't know. We know that he is elite at this position. So you might need to draft another corner. If you get a 2 and a 4 for A.J. Brown, not thrilled with it, but you might use one of those 2s for a second corner unless you just want to roll the dice with a Dory Jackson for another year.
Yeah, they've got a lot of needs. They've got some positions to fill, and adding through the draft for a team with this many talented players is, to me, infinitely more important than free agency.
It's necessary. You got to pay. You're paying all these guys.
Right.
Like, they have to. It's why I talked about it last week, how important this draft is. For the first time in a long time, we're talking about, like, the severe importance of a draft for the Philadelphia Eagles. We're not talking about a quarterback, but we're talking about positions that you start looking around and you're going, all right, that guy's almost gone because of age. That guy's almost gone because he's going to get paid. You can't pay everybody. These are vital positions, man.
Here's what I'm going to say, because I've seen it the past couple of years, and I've already seen it again this offseason. Our texter just there, Zach from Florida, saying, how he's going to turn these picks he gets from AJ into perennial Pro Bowlers. Yeah, how he's been on a heater with, like, the top 3 draft picks in the last 3 drafts. Amazing stuff. And he's become a much better drafter than he was earlier on in his career. But I think there are a lot of people banking on the he's never going to miss again thing.
And he might.
There's no guarantee that if you go out and you get a tackle in the first round, that's Lane Johnson.
Right. You hope that he's a very quality player.
There's no guarantee that if you draft a wide receiver in the second round because you need to replace A.J. Brown, that guy is A.J. Brown.
Right.
So Howie's going to miss at some point. And that's what's tricky about having so many eggs in the basket of the draft.
By the way, 215J Philly questioning a 2 and a 4. The only reason why I bring that up is because Rob Motti, lead reporter, Associated Press, believes maybe a day 2 pick in the second round. It's going to change constantly. If there is an actual bidding war, it could get up to a 1. I'm just under the impression recently that maybe it's not as much. That what the reports have been coming out is that the Eagles are asking for like the whole world for A.J. Brown, as they should.
Good.
As they should. And you know what? Hopefully the cost is too much that he's here. And he's the wide receiver 1 of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm celebrating that. I don't know about Johnny. I'm celebrating that. All right? Let's go. Connor and I have been very, 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 very honest and upfront. We will deal with whatever drama comes because you bring back a very talented player. There are other people that don't want to deal with the drama.
Bro, I've been through so many years. I'm 31, and I've had so many years in that short time compared to some folks who are Eagles fans, like lifelong, the previous generation, of just watching wide receivers that have no business being 1 or 2s on this team. And we just came out of it. It's been, 4 years of A.J. Brown?
We have wide receivers. We have linebackers. We have a running back.
I don't want to give that up.
Me neither, man. Me neither. All right. We'll get back to our text here momentarily. The Philadelphia Phillies stock exchange. Are you buying? Are you buying what you have seen so far from Bryson Stott? I asked Jim Salisbury about him. He talked about the changes he made at the end of the season. How about Kevin Long making an adjustment? John's not here for me to talk to him about that. Kevin Long, according to Jim Salisbury, worked with Bryson Stott. You saw the OPS skyrocket last month of the season. He still doesn't play against lefties. But against right-handed pitching, the OPS went up. And so far this spring, he has been by far the best hitter for the Phillies. Again, don't completely overvalue spring training. But are you buying the stock of Bryson Stott?
I'm not.
All right. Wow.
I'm not. I mean, he is what he is. Now, I did say, because I did stock up, stock down on the podcast just last week.
Oh, so I'm stealing your content.
No, man. I was just warmed up for this. But he's one of the tougher guys to figure out who he is. Like the upside of, could he be a batting title winner that we heard a couple years ago? Right. He did hit 280 in that season, and then he's been like a 256 career hitter, I believe, or 257. Could I see him with his bat-to-ball skills being a really important piece for the Phillies? Sure. But I've also seen plenty of times where the guy is lost against anything that's not your typical righty.
I'm just hoping this guy can be an everyday player at this point.
No.
That's what I'm hoping. Like, can he go up against a left-handed pitcher and not look horrific?
They've proven they're not really going to give him the opportunity to. Yeah. And I don't think this year's
they do during the season sometimes, and then the playoffs come around.
Yeah,
and
sometimes. They give him like a week maybe or 2, and then he proves he can't do it, and there's Edmundo Sosa time again.
5 for 8, double, and 2 home runs, man. OPS over 2.269. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not buying that yet.
All right. Bryce Harper, specifically returning to Bryce Harper.
Stock way up. Yeah.
All right. He's having a great start to the spring. He's hitting the ball really hard.
Now, that's a blue chip, so your returns are not going to be great on that stock.
Sure.
You're going to have to invest a lot to get a share.
All right, I'll ask you because he's not having a good spring. I heard all the tweets came in when he hit the home run, but he's batting 154. The Ottoman Empire, Otto Kemp, stock. Are you buying the stock?
I'm not selling it, but I'm not trying to get any more than I already have. He's a big-time question mark, too. And I haven't seen anything in spring training that's like, he's the championship caliber player that they sold him to be. But listen, you're working through stuff. It's his first major league spring training where he's going to be a part of this roster, we believe. I don't think there's any way he's on the outside looking in or anything. And we'll see how that plays out. But regular season, much more important.
All right, stock up. Are you buying the stock of Alec Boehm being the 4-hole hitting, somewhat potential all-star again? I remember telling you, I didn't even bring it up on the air, Jeff Kerr, Alec Boehm silencing the critics with a couple of singles again. Are you buying the stock of Alec Boehm?
It depends what the individual person who's asking that question's sale price is on it. There's a lot of people that are way more down on Alec Boehm than they should be because I think we're just tired of the
You shouldn't back her up.
No.
Salisbury said it best. If he batted 6th, and I agree with him, if he batted 6th, it's a totally different story.
And that's organizational. But even outside of the cleanup stuff, like there's so many people who have been like, trade him last offseason, trade him this offseason, that are so out on Alec Boehm that now the well's poisoned. And he's turned into this player that people do not think is as good as he is. So if you're one of those folks down on Boehm, buy stock. If you see him as the 280 hitter that he's been, okay. I think that's a fair evaluation.
I'll give you one more position player, Adolis Garcia. You buying the Adolis Garcia stock?
No, I'm not. I'm not ready to sell yet, but he hasn't shown me anything of like, oh, he's going to get his pop back. We had that texter earlier saying, oh, he has the batting stance back from 2023. Bro, that does nothing for me.
All right, I'm so in on Kyle Backus.
Dude, if you had not given me names, he would have been the first name out of my mouth. He needs to be on the team.
Kyle Backus is the left-handed side armor. I'm in. Give me Kyle Backus all day. All right, how about Jonathan Bolin? He's the player that they acquired with the trade for Matt Strahm.
I'd buy Bolin stock.
All right.
He's going to be probably like your sixth arm in the bullpen, which is low leverage stuff, but he's got major league experience. His numbers have been pretty solid, consistent. So for what he's going to be asked to do, I think you got a good guy for that.
I'll ask you one more. Are you buying the stock of a bounce back, and bounce back of note? I'm not talking 5 ERA, of Aaron Nola.
God. Sure. But this is
out of necessity.
Yeah.
You're buying a stock with your heart. You're not using your brain. You're buying a stock with your heart. At that
I'm
point.
buying the dip is what I'm doing. I'm seeing it go so low. I'm like, there's no way it can go any lower. And there's a chance that around April or May or maybe even June, we're like, oh, that company, did they just declare bankruptcy? The Aaron Nola Incorporated? It can't go any lower though, right?
Well, just want to know whether or not he's pitchable. He became unpitchable.
That's my thing. The stock I'm
year.
buying is, can this guy make starts? And I think he can still make starts.
All right. Well, he can make starts.
Last year he could.
Will be effective is a whole other question.
Yeah, it definitely is.
All right. Real quick before we get back to our text line. One day when you fall in love and you get married,
don't hold your breath.
And you and your wife make the decision that you would like to procreate and have a child. There are so many people that will try to tell you to do things or not to do things, right? Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. There are some days where you just got to flip them middle finger and say, dude, you're not in my house. You don't know what's going on. So I get up 4 o'clock this morning, make my way downstairs, and I hear whining at 4:20. All right, like I leave the house at 4:30, so I'm like, I got to leave in 10 minutes. What are we doing here? I want goldfish. He's half asleep saying it. Like he's standing but wobbling, saying, I want goldfish.
Get the kid some goldfish.
And I'm like, all right, buddy, let's go back to bed. Put him back to bed. I want goldfish. I want goldfish. I want goldfish. I want goldfish. All right, dude, fine. I'll give you the freaking goldfish, dude. Like, because he's not even 4 years old. He's barely awake. He's freaking out over goldfish because he probably had for all I know, he had a dream of goldfish, right? Like he's not in a space of consciousness where I can talk to him why he wants goldfish so bad. So I caved. Christy was cool with it too. Like, just give him the freaking goldfish so he goes back to bed. Christy sends me a photo of goldfish all in his bed because he fell asleep with the goldfish.
Classic.
And rolled over, and there's just goldfish all over the bed. So our dog is currently, did jump on the bed, and she had a snack this morning.
Well, hey, somebody got goldfish, so that's good.
But I know people will tell you not to do that. Don't cave.
Who cares?
Don't cave. Play this. No, he's going to have to learn.
If it's something trivial, I'm taking the path of least resistance every single time.
I got to leave for work in 10 minutes. My job's not a job I can be late to. All right, like, we're on the air, 6 o'clock, whether we're ready or not. All right, coming up next, another instrumental return for your chance to be in the running. Congratulations to Mike from Montco. Help was the last song.
Yeah, by a little-known band called The Beatles.
I almost sang it. It's hard not to, especially right when you hear the beginning of the song.
This next one's going to be tough for you, too, because I know you like this song.
Well, I'll keep my mouth shut. Also, coming up next, we as a city got brought up nationally. Was it endearing? Was it a shot? Or is it the perfect picture of who we are? It's Kincade Salciunas. Johnny on vacation this week here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers come up short in Boston. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers dropped their game against the Celtics last night up at TD Garden. 114-98 the final. Tyrese Maxey did lead all scorers. He had 33 in the game. It was the first of an expected 3-game absence for Joel Embiid as he deals with an oblique strain. And they were out-rebounded 59-37 without the big man on the floor. Tyrese Maxey talked about it after the game.
When you boxing out and they shooting so many threes, they bouncing far and long. And those are tough ones where, like, you know, it's difficult, man. They shoot the three, you boxing out the corners because they crashing hard. You know that they crashing, and they bounce funny tonight.
Sixers have the night off tonight. They will host the Spurs on Tuesday. The Flyers took down the Brewers 3-1 on Saturday. They've got a nice 2-game win streak going on. NHL trade deadline is Friday, so we'll keep you updated on what moves they could look to make. They play the Leafs up in Toronto tonight at 7:30 p.m. You can hear that game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Andrew Painter made his first start of the spring for the Phillies yesterday as they took on the Yankees. He threw 2 scoreless in a 5-3 loss. The Phils play the Rays at 105 today. Union fell to New York City FC 2-1 their home opener yesterday. This update is brought to you by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with our friends over at Allstate. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
I know. Okay.
Took you a little bit.
Took me a minute. All right. If you know the name of this song, text it to 610-632-0975. And whoever gets it right, a lot of you will get it right, but one lucky person will be in the running for the drawing in the next segment between for the Sixers tickets. March 25th, it's Knockout. We announced it at 7 o'clock this morning that Knockout will return another year. We get to watch Matas Buzelis and the Chicago Bulls coming to town on March 25th. And as Connor pointed out, it's also the expected return date of Paul George. I'm curious what that ovation is going to be like, or reaction, I should say.
If Jose Alvarado's any indication.
People like Jose Alvarado.
Okay, then maybe not.
I don't know a Sixers fan that likes Paul George. I'm not talking about I'm not even talking about the player. I'm talking about like a connection with the person. He was here for a year, got hurt a lot, had the weird NFC Championship game driving moment where he didn't realize people would be storming the streets after the Eagles won the NFC Championship game. I don't know how many people have any sort of connection to Paul George. Like one. Unless you were a big Paul George Pacers fan back in the day. And you're just excited that he's wearing a Sixers uniform.
Maybe you're a podcast subscriber?
Maybe. Like that was me with Harden. Like I loved Harden. So like I was like, all right, I'll get behind this. And then he ended up playing well. Difference between James Harden and Paul George is that Paul George has not had a moment.
I'll tell you, it's going to be then entirely dependent on how the team's playing at that time.
Okay.
Like if they're in a push and maybe they like just overtake somebody for like the 5th seed or something, and then as Paul George comes back and you're like, okay.
And Matt Cord does that, and now returning Paul George.
Like they've won like 5 of their last 6.
But he's not returning from an injury. He's returning from a suspension. That's inexcusable, right? Like it just is. So anyways, Knockout. Even more exciting after the game, Knockout. So we'll have a winner today. We have a pair of tickets and a spot in Knockout every day this week. Tomorrow, you're going to have to get to work if you're listening right now. I'm very excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow's a Tuesday with Amy Fadul with us from 8 to 10. We're also going to have a writer from Philly Mag on tomorrow at 8:30. He put together his list of the top 25 Philly gal athletes. So not like from Philadelphia. They played in Philadelphia at some point, and they exuded Philadelphia, right? How many times have you heard somebody say, oh, he's a Philly guy, right? Like people love Chase Utley. He's a lunch pail guy, Philly guy. So we're going to have some fun with that tomorrow. We're going to try to come up with the consensus. He has his list. We will react to said list, but you are going to try to help us out, come up with the consensus. And we'll have more knockout spots to give away tomorrow. I have $50 gift cards to Rita's all week long that I'll be giving away. Not today, but the rest of the week. As the warmer weather is about to hit, we have $50 gift cards to Rita's Water Ice. We have some cool Philadelphia sports movie posters that my man Sal at Family Company Jewelers puts together. He's the guy that created where South Jersey's Diamond Destination. He's the one that created that term. Like this guy's a master.
Sharp guy.
Family Company Jewelers. So a lot of good stuff over the course of this week, but we're still hanging out here today. An update on what's being said about A.J. Brown. I saw it during the commercial break. Albert Breer, who's been covering the NFL for quite some time for Sports Illustrated, also, by the way, has ties with New England. Just so you guys know. He's I think he used to cover the Patriots, so he still has those ties. He did a big article on some of the top storylines that he heard from the Combine. So if you go to his article, there's a whole portion on the Detroit Lions, something on the NFL draft, Buffalo Bills, Max Crosby, Tua's future, Kyler Murray's future, Kirk Cousins' future, what the Cowboys are planning on doing. But he also did a write-up on A.J. Brown. The potential for an A.J. Brown trade is there. Eagles GM Howie Roseman knows this situation is delicate because if they are actively shopping Brown, that could make things messier than Philly needs them to be. So let's talk about that. The Eagles come on the record and say, yeah, like those reports that are coming out of Minnesota right now. If nobody trades for Aaron Jones and nobody trades for Javon Hargrave, we're going to release you. The Eagles will not reach that point where they're going to release A.J. Brown. All right? I imagine I could guarantee that one. But if they're actively trying to shop him, A.J. Brown may feel a certain type of way.
Well, he wouldn't come out and, like, post anything.
Yeah. He continues saying A.J. Brown's camp has done recon on potential landing spots and which have genuine interest. So while Roseman quietly has had talks, Brown's side has gauged whether there's greener grass elsewhere. Not just success, but his own individual success. I imagine the quarterback is a big part of it. The asking price for now is high. What Albert Breer has been able to sort of get at the combine is that the Eagles would want a first-round pick and another top 100 selection. So I have said that if it's a first and a third, I can't say no to that. Just can't. It's a similar package to what the Packers got for Devontae Adams back in 2022. However, many teams won't do that. He says that's going to be too much for most, if not all teams. So some of the teams, conversely, see Brown's value as being closer to what the Bills got for Stephon Diggs back in 24 when Houston traded a second-rounder, and then Houston and Buffalo swapped the day 3 pick, whichever one was more favorable. That's not going to cut it for me, man.
No, I don't think so either.
A second-round pick and a pick swap? I'm out, dude. Like, unless A.J. Brown is like, I'm not going to play, I'm out. That does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. Regardless of what you want to say about his drama and his antics and whether you got bothered by it or you were annoyed by it. Yeah, I was annoyed by it at times too, but I'm not trading away a 1,000-yard receiver for a second-rounder and a pick swap.
What's your gut feel on this? Do you think, like, let's say a trade doesn't happen and AJ's, will he, like, sit out, do you think? Will he hold out for a trade? I don't think so either.
No, I think he's going to play, but don't be surprised if 4 weeks in he's not happy. He voices his frustration. We already went through that.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be surprised by that, of course. And that's something I think the Eagles can withstand. I think their problems last year were much more the OC didn't know how to run an offense than AJ posted something. So I'm not worried about that. I just wonder how many people think, okay, if you don't trade him, will he be kind of a sit-in guy? And then the next thing you know.
I think he'll play. I don't think this is a Hassan Reddick situation. Unless it's even worse behind scenes that we know.
Everything we're hearing, though, would tell me what you're saying there is like, I feel like he wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do that. All right, real quick before we play this audio for you, I have some random stuff to get to that took place over the weekend. I'm sure you were locked into Clemson versus South Carolina baseball.
Oh, of course.
Left-handed pitcher for Clemson. His name is Michael Sharman. Pitched a complete game where he allowed 4 hits and an earned run. Struck out 4. He threw 67 strikes, 11 balls. So 78 total pitches in a complete game. And it's not like he was like unhittable. He gave up 4 hits and a run. That must have been the quickest game.
Someone tell South Carolina to take a pitch.
Yes, 78.
Good Lord.
Well, if he's around the zone constantly, maybe you don't want to.
Yeah, well, at some point, I'd rather have 3-pitch strikeout than just rolling over every time.
I got another random thing for the next segment. I'm surprised you didn't have it in today's headlines. One more baseball thing. Did you see Wilyer Abreu?
I did not.
He plays for the Red Sox. 3-2 pitch. Umpire rings him up. He does the tap. He walked to first base before the...
Ooh.
It's an awesome move.
I like it.
It shows up the umpire big time. Something that we have not talked about, showing the umpire up doesn't matter anymore.
Well, yes, it does.
Well, unless you're going to get ejected. But no, but like showing up the umpire, hey, you got the call wrong. I can challenge it. That changes. That is a little... unless you love the game, you don't realize it. Like, that is something where he can walk to first base. He takes the batting gloves off, the elbow pad, the shin guard. The umpire doesn't even have the call in yet, and he's at first base because he's like, yeah, you suck.
That's a fine line, though, because one of your other teammates or your catcher on defense burns one of the challenges. Next thing you know, you're out, and then the umpire's like, this guy doesn't have another one.
That's a fair point.
Guess who's getting the ball outside for the rest of the game?
All right. This morning, speaking of listening to overnight, like I heard the FanDuel Sportsbook Network in Oklahoma City raving about Jared McCain and Isaiah Joe, both players who once played for the Philadelphia 76ers and were traded for like nothing. I heard a promo for my friends Freddie and Harry. Freddie Coleman, Harry Douglas. I've worked on that show a couple of times, filling in for Freddie, filling in for Harry on the network, ESPN Radio. I don't know why this was one of the promos, and I don't know if it aired specifically here. Like, I don't know if this aired in Chicago or if this aired in any of the other ESPN affiliates over the country. But we're sitting prepping the show, and I hear this. I go, oh, let's talk about it today.
This is Freddie and Harry.
What Philadelphia fans would do, they can talk you-know-what about their team, but they don't want anybody else to talk you-know-what about their team. But when their team is not living up to the billing, oh, they are crushing them left and right.
There's no question about what you just said. New York fans, they're just aggressive, period. Whether their team wins, whether their team loses. Philadelphia fans, they are a different breed.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Spot on assessment? I think he's right.
Yeah, I don't have any beef with any of that.
You say if we can talk crap about our teams, and the second you say something, think of us and what we do, right? I could see on Twitter one guy rip the Phillies, and then the next morning we're on the air. I can say the identical thing that person tweeted out, and I'm a monster because I'm in the media, even though I try to relate as much as I mean, like, go Philly. 4 for 4, as my man Ant would say. But there are people that feel a certain type of way once the media attacks them. And if you go national media, oh, it's not even close. Is that a spot-on assessment of Philadelphia sports fans?
Yeah, I don't have any issue with anything that they said there.
They didn't say that we're like nasty and like over the top and we're the worst.
No, and we know that about ourselves. We're passionate. They weren't taking a shot there. I think that was just a fair, like, hey, it's different here.
Very fair assessment.
No, I don't think a lot of people from the outside understand what they were saying.
Yeah, probably not.
And players, we've had some in this town and not in this town that don't get that.
There are people probably on the outside that just think we're horrible people.
Oh, yeah.
And every time I've gone on the road, Philly sports trips, my own personal trips, I meet people of other fan bases and they go, oh, damn, I thought all you Philadelphia people suck. I'm like, no, just don't be a D-bag. Yeah, that's all. All right, coming up next, we have one more instrumental for you to be in the running for the Sixers-Bulls tickets in the Spot and Knockout. We'll announce the winner before we hand things over to Middays with Marks. Johnny Marks back, right, from his Disney vacation. Johnny Marks will be back. Ray Dunn here as well. And I got some random storylines from over the weekend to give you. One that I was shocked you didn't have in today's headlines. It is Kincade and Salciunas. Johnny out this week on vacation, 97.5 The Fanatic. Connor was saying we were going to bump back with this one.
Yeah, we'll get there.
How long do you want me to wait? I got to talk for
You don't have to wait that long.
Scott's going to get upset.
If you don't know this one, though.
I don't know this one.
You don't know this one? That worked by you.
Sorry, I don't have like glow sticks thing around your neck.
We got to get everybody under the tent today. So we got to do a whole bunch of different genres.
Ever see White Chicks?
Yes.
Terry Crews dancing in the club with the whistles. By the way, Mike Colantuono, hope I said your last name correctly, was the qualifier for Endless Love. Everybody on YouTube got it immediately and started talking about Happy Gilmore. Well, our friends listen to Endless Love in the Dark.
I didn't even think about the Happy Gilmore scene.
Oh, what?
No.
Oh, I thought that would have been the reason why you played it.
I told you, this is just stream of consciousness. That song just popped in my head.
Oh, my God. I remember singing that song. Man, I don't know how old I was. Probably middle school or high school. I don't remember. My mom being, how the hell do you know that song? I was like, Happy Gilmore. Quickly realized she was wondering if I had a girlfriend, which
no, I just like this movie about this hockey player that plays golf, Mom.
Friends listen to Endless Love in the Dark. Talk about your all-time backfires. She shot the puck, full rink of the ice. And then she said, happy, I didn't see it go in. And then they kissed, and then the guy that drove the Zamboni was lip singing in the background. I can do that whole movie. Tomorrow morning, starting at 6 o'clock, I'll just Happy Gilmore start to finish.
I'm going to be late tomorrow, then.
All right. We'll have our last qualifier here in a moment, and then we'll announce our winner before we get out of here. Middays with Marks coming your way next. Saw Johnny Marks in the back getting ready with Ray Dunn and Sean Brace, so that comes your way at 10 o'clock. I was shocked that you did not have this in today's headlines. Did you see what happened? Let me see what USATF means. Obviously, United States of America Track and Field. All right, USA Track and Field had a half marathon in Atlanta this weekend. Did you see this?
No.
All right, you missed this.
There was a lot of stuff that happened over the weekend.
So I ran a half marathon once, and I was not competing. I was just trying to get to the finish line. But I would imagine the people that are competing take it pretty freaking seriously. Those runners, Nate Tennyson, who's one of our associate producers here at the station, is a serious runner. I saw him post. What's the app you guys use? Strava. He posted his 16-mile run this weekend.
That's 15 miles too many.
So in Atlanta, the half marathon championships, the United States of America Track and Field half marathon championships took place in Atlanta this week. Jess McClain, Edna Kurgat, and Emma Hurley were first, second, and third when the lead vehicle took a wrong turn and left the path of the race. And they're trained to follow the car, right? This isn't you going for a run on your own time. You're following this car. They went off the track, never made it to the finish line, and Molly Bourne was declared winner because she was the first one to cross the finish line, even though she was technically probably fourth at the time. The United States Track and Field Association had to release a statement apologizing, but according to the rule books, they left the track. They got disqualified. So Molly Bourne was the winner. That is extremely unfair. And don't give me you should have known. These people run all the time, right? I doubt they trained for this specific terrain. They run in their backyard, or, they like Kelly Drive, like I did when I was training for the half marathon, right? Like, that's not right. You can't have these people disqualified because whoever the driver was got lost.
Yeah, that sucks.
This is for the championship. It's not in the Olympics. It's not the gold. You're not an Olympian.
I'm trying to think of what would be the right thing to do, though, because the race wasn't over. So you're not going to make him run it again.
I know you can't.
Line back up. Let's try again, fellas.
Ladies. I don't. How do you even look the runners in the eye? Imagine being the driver. How do you look the runners in the eye?
Yeah, that's.
You just drop a my bad.
I guess so. I mean,
you realize, oh, shoot, and you just hit the gas.
That's one of those Southwest Airlines want to get away commercials if I've ever seen one.
Honestly, you could create a commercial off of that. They should. Somebody should create that sounds like a sitcom. That does not sound like real life.
Yeah, it was Kramer driving the car.
And yet it was real life. Crazy. All right, before we get to our text line, we do have a winner. Is that, or you're drawing out a hat?
We have a hat.
Oh, so if you're watching on YouTube, Connor will be drawing a name from a hat, not his own hat, because he doesn't want to show his hair. So he's going to be drawing a name out of the hat. All of our qualifiers, one lucky winner will win a pair of tickets for the Sixers-Bulls game. It's knockout night, the return. We announced it earlier this morning. March 25th at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Get single-game tickets today at Sixers.com. And then, of course, one of the two get to play knockout after the game and take out Connor Thomas, who blamed the shoes last year. What do we got? Who's our winner?
It's got to be the shoes. All right, our winner for our first pair of tickets to our knockout event and the Sixers game is Anthony Dietrich. And he literally just got levels the last song here. So the last person to qualify is the one whose name just got pulled.
Wow, sorry to whoever qualified at 7:30. Congratulations to Anthony. You won the pair of tickets for the Sixers-Bulls game for March 25th. And, of course, you or your guest gets to play knockout after the game. Always a fun event for us every single year. Looking forward to it. Also, if you missed it, right before we told you how you could win and how you could get in a knockout, we added a little addition to the show. Our friends over at Iron Mountain Men's Health, Dr. Avi Donapel. Is the poll still standing 3 hours later, Connor?
It absolutely is. Paul woke up ready to go this morning. And our question was about your expectations for Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford and what you're looking for there. What's the bar you're setting for both Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford? The winner of the poll with 59% of responders saying, I'll be patient. Only 41% saying, I expect immediate impact.
So the patient crowd has the stronger poll.
At least they're saying
so. Than the immediacy.
At least they're saying so. We'll see.
You played a long game. You sent a couple texts throughout the course of the day. See you later. That one's stronger than the let's just go do it. How about that? I'll be patient. JD on Twitter in response to the poll. By the way, most voting that they will be patient, they'll be the biggest whiners after the first month. Probably. As long as they play really well. And we don't have to worry about that. All right, Johnny Marks coming your way next. Middays with Mark, Sean Brace, Ray Dunn. John Kincade out all week long. He is in Paradise, St. Lucia, man. It's where I went for my honeymoon. Such a beautiful, beautiful island. He sent me one picture, and I was cool with it. Then he sent me a second one, and I wanted to knock his head in. So John Kincade out all week long. Connor and I holding down the fort until Connor leaves me because he's got a vacation too. I'm the only guy that wants to keep on working on this show. What can I tell you? Everybody have a great, great rest of your day. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Tuesdays with Amy. Amy will be in studio with us from 8 to 10. Middays with Marks. That comes your way next here on 97.5 The Fanatic.